Alright, here we are. I wasn't sure that today will be the last stream for this game. Maybe 5 hours or something is enough. Maybe even less. Well, I wasn't sure that I was able completely predict what will happen at the very end. Because it's simply very easy. What I saw here just happened in at least 2 different games. And by the way, the games that were originally released in the United States and maybe never in Japan, I'm not sure. So you cannot even count them as visual novels, but still, the plot is like the same. Double checking the extras. Yeah, wasn't sure that she is dead. I still want somehow rise it. But I don't know how, maybe it's too late. So far, don't remember any choices that actually would be able to rise his trust level. I still don't understand what paranoia is doing here, but... Oh, let's continue. Slash. I mean this slash? Like in the name of this game? Also, the name looks like different other visual novel, like Fate Night or something. Also. And we are slash. And I still don't understand why, what does it mean? Except that it's a very funny name, like in Steins Gate, it's what is it, period and comma. Are you sure? Is it not possible? Oh, wait a second, Of course you didn't save my settings, come on. Text speed must be almost instant and better, just simply instant. Is it not possible that it is still senseful somehow? Putting aside the fact that Sen can't physically interact with us without using electronics, it's unlike anything Sen's ever done. He didn't make a big show of it, he didn't even tell us she'd been killed, and then he doesn't even mention it? Well then, could it have been someone else entirely? An 8th person? Yes, seriously, who is her dad? I still don't understand this. Same as Lisa's dad? Is it the same person? Is it possible? I hesitate to use the word impossible, but find it highly unlikely that someone's been hiding from us this whole time. There's no evidence to support it. Had to have been one of us. I understand, but I don't want to believe that one of us is capable of murder. Time for visual thinking is over. We have to look at the facts. Being suspicious of bad deaths from the start. But I'd never have suspected this. As this was quite defined, it does beg the question though. How did you unlock the door ring? Oh, wait a second, so it was Tiana, yeah, who said this? You're trying to change the theme because you are the killer. Well, I can't very well admit the voice in my head told me. What's an easy cover-up? Sen told me. He's spoken to me privately a number of times, and it turns out he dropped a few hints in there when I pieced everything together a few moments ago. I see. Lisa, who hadn't spoken a word since leaving her corner, suddenly perked up. Aside from a pair of bloodshot eyes, her brain was back to normal. Guess all of this talk about murder jolted her out of her melancholy. Wait a second, she just confirms that she was blind and she still can see, despite that it was said that if she told somebody else, she become blind immediately. Kinda strange, isn't it? Same as me, kinda. It's awful but convenient. So one of us, 5 contestants, is a murderer, then? Not quite. From where I'm sitting, it could only have been one of 4 people. Also, you including everyone but yourself? No, including everyone except for me and you. You and I were in the stone hallway when Bess was murdered. We are the only two contestants with someone to watch for them. That leaves Ether, Roy, Tiana, and Sin, technically. Oh, it could be Sin. As far as I'm concerned, Lisa, you and I are the only people who are free of suspicion. It's easy for you to say. Who's to say that two of you didn't conspire on this together? You've got to keep in mind that Ink was the one to find the murder weapon. He wanted to keep us from finding out. Why would he have brought it up in the first place? Unless this is all part of some crazy gambit, which I find highly unlikely. Whatever. You're all far too trusting for your own good. I want to go over what I think happened, but first, how about we head over to the next room? If this being followed the same pattern as all the others, it ought to be a bar of some kind. This could take a while, so we should probably have a seat. Sure. Wordlessly, the contestants began to make their way through the door. Ink. So, what's the plan? This is usually the part of the story where the detective rounds everyone up, goes over the facts and names the culprit. So you already know who it is? What do you know so far? It's definitely not Arthur or Lisa. It's... First of all, to know who did this, there must be a motive, a possibility, and some... how can I say? Some evidence. One single evidence will be enough. Okay, about possibility, it's everyone except Ink and Lisa, and Rai as well, because he was hurt, so it's simply impossible for him. Not possible, no possibility. Motive. It can be okay for goes to Sin and Tiana. They're very new. They might be know something again about all this situation and found that Beth is a threat. Because she died after their appearance. And evidence? Evidence? You have no evidence at all, so what can you tell? And I'm no detective, not really. I don't even know where to begin. I mean, you should probably start by laying everything out, like you said. Might be able to piece something together. Yeah, guess that's our best goal. I know you're in that, so I'm counting on you to help me out, okay? It's not like I've got a choice. Appreciate it. Let's go then. Made his way into the next room, just as he'd suspected. It was a tightly packed bar, quite safe for idle footsteps, and the dull groan of the monitor. The other contestants were pacing about the room. Hey, there's a puzzle on the monitor? Already a puzzle? Puzzle say? We must name the murderer? Nah. Now's not the time for that. We're not going anywhere until we figured out who killed Beth. Gosh. And what if we can't figure it out? We're just going to give up on escaping. We'll cross the bridge when we get there. First, let's get all of our facts straight. Right, where was everyone when Beth was killed? Also in a puzzle, the black being be seen, but Sin cannot prove it. Or both of you killed her. Right, he'd mentioned. Oh, yeah, mentioned? Were you and Sin ever separated during that time? Not that I remember. How convenient that Sin's no longer around to corroborate your story. But did Ether just get accusatory? You wanted to talk considering your alibi is the weakest. You're pointing can wait until we are laid everything out. You're up next, Nasa. Where were you when Bess was killed? I was searching the other rooms. In that same hallway, I started with the door on the left, got to the end of the hallway, and looked back around on the right until I entered the room with Beth's body. It's about 10 or so rooms. Obviously, you had to come back out in the hallway after searching each one. And yet you didn't see or hear anything suspicious that whole time? Nothing? Not until I saw the body anyway. Though there was that earthquake when I entered the final door, the left side, but everyone must have felt that. Yeah, that earthquake was Ink's fault, by the way. Gee, thanks. That leaves me, I guess. Sure does. Where were you again? Was lying down in one of the other rooms in that same hallway, the first one on the left actually. Was trying to rest a bit, Bess had suggested it. Thanks. So, interpreting things correctly, the killer entered the hallway, up the painting of the wall, went into the hotel room and killed Bess with a single blow to the back of the head. And they must have opened the locked door with the same trick that Ink used. I tossed the painting there, thinking no one would find it. Not that there was really anywhere else to hide it. What's more is that they'd have to do that without being spotted by Ether, who was constantly in and out of the hallway. Wouldn't that have taken some crazy good timing? Why is the music just recently changed? Not necessarily. What do you mean? If Ether had done it, she wouldn't have had to time anything. She'd have had plenty of time to kill Bless without worrying about anyone noticing. Right. Cut the stammering. I always thought you were suspicious. You really think it was her? After all you've been through? Don't let personal bias cloud your judgment. You know her for less than a day. You think she did it solely because she had the best opportunity? That's part of it, sure, but there's an even bigger reason I suspect Ether. She now mentions the missing painting. The murder weapon? What about it? Yeah, what gives? I noticed the missing painting myself. We probably all did, but it didn't seem strange enough to comment on. These hotels got smoke-filled bars and rooms with huge cracks in the walls. I didn't think a missing painting was that out of place. True, but you've got to remember that there were two people who had seen the painting on the wall before it had been ripped off. Bess yourself and Ether. So why didn't you mention that the painting was missing when we were going over Bess's murder? Yeah, pretty logical, and I immediately noticed that there's no paint despite that we saw it first time in our life, I believe. So it might be here. But the question is why? Okay, we have one piece of evidence. We still don't understand the motive. Possibility and evidence are here. But at least we figured out why? You cannot call here a murder. Honestly, I didn't notice. It's not like I spent a lot of time looking at the scene. Heck, I didn't even notice it had a glass cover until after Ink found it in the washroom. It's a weak excuse, and you know it. My brain didn't even register that it was missing until Ink found it again. Can be a little scatterbrained sometimes, but I'm not a murderer. Was it an honest mistake, or was it really her? Besides, wouldn't you have been seeing the painting too? You were also in the hallway before the painting had been turned off. I'd been in the hallway before, sure, but only while I was having one of those bleeding attacks. I wasn't exactly able to take in my surroundings. Yeah, remember that? Beth guided you into that hall and then presumably into one of the hotel rooms. Exactly. Though the only person who might notice that the picture was missing is Ether. That is pretty fishy. Also, for what it's Worse, I don't think Tiana would do something like this. Like Ether, I know Tiana pretty well. She ain't a good person, but I don't think she kills someone. That leaves Ether as the only possibility. What do you have to say about that, Ether? I can understand why Rai thinks I... Maybe it's Ray. No, it's Rai. I don't know. Since I did it, and I think it's mature of him to look past his grievances with Tiana and decry her innocence. Which is too bad because I know Tiana's lying. What? You said that you and Sin never split up, but I am not buying it. Like I said before, he's no longer around to back you up. When we asked him, he said you were solving the puzzle together. Well, not that you never split up. You were the one who added that bit. I'm sure it would have been easy to excuse yourself for a moment. You pull on straws. Even if I did split up from Sin, which I didn't, by the way, it means I'd only have had, what, 3 or 4 minutes to run over to the Blue Wing and murder someone? Pathetically, if Sin and I had been separated for more than a few minutes, I certainly wouldn't mention it. Am I wrong? Well, it's true that you only have had a few minutes to carry out the murder. That's exactly why I think it was you. What do you get in it? This ought to be rich. The weapon was hidden by someone who was in a hurry. Even if the weapon was hidden by someone who knew the trick about the box, it was still hidden right next to the body itself. If I or even Rai were responsible, they'd have had the time to hide the weapon in a more secure location, such as one of the other washrooms in that hall, or somewhere in the study, anywhere else really. It was still behind a locked door. Maybe they thought it'd be fine. It's still just one measly mechanical lock. Don't forget that we have someone here who can pick locks. What's more was that there was their attempt to clean up the crime scene in any way. I think it's a clear sign that the culprit was shot on time. Maybe it was Sin. And Tiana lying that they didn't separate because she's afraid that she would be found guilty, but so what? Okay, you kill another person. So what? You're delusional. This is all just conjecture based on the assumption that Sin and I split up at some point, but we didn't. I say that, but I've got a strong hunch that the two of you split up briefly. A hunch? That's it? This is a joke. You know what I'm talking about, right, Ink? She's obviously referring to her clairvoyance, but can that power of yours be trusted? Can she be trusted? Besides, she and Sin both appeared later than the rest of us. Don't tell me that's not super suspicious. Are you seriously going to believe a mere hunch, Mink? I haven't decided yet. If you let her pull the wool over your eyes, things aren't going to end well for any of us. I take it you think others, the culprit. By the way, let me check the sound. And of course there's no background sound, so I cannot change the sound of this game, but okay. Oh no. Oh no? She may have a few screws loose, but she's too weak to have killed anyone, both physically and mentally. Besides, I know for a fact that Rai was the one to murder Brass. Wait a second here. The heck? You gonna up and accuse me after a hunch? For you? Happily. Like you said, we've known each other for a long time. I know full well what you're capable of. What makes you think that Rai did it? First of all, he was in a great position to run to the bathroom and kill her. Still, why? Why should he do this? He claims he was resting, but nobody knows what he was really up to in that room. Well, at least we must see some blood everywhere, everywhere? No? He could have easily been listening through the door, waiting for Ether to dip the hole so that he could make his move. His room, the room where Bess was found, and the painting were all relatively close to one another. There had been no problem, even for someone with a missing arm. Seriously think I'd kill Bess after she saved my life? I have no idea why you did it. But you've killed before. You have it in you to do it again. Killed? Wait a second. We knew about anyone died only about 20 years ago and in the same hotel when it was demolished, but it was 20 years ago. There was also a bookstore which was burned, but nobody died in it, isn't it? So I don't know who he actually killed. Wait, what? Not people. Not on purpose. Not people? Animal? Not on purpose? So it was you who actually burned it? And some animal down inside? I don't know, let's see. What then? What did you do, Ryan? He'll never tell you, but I will. Tiana, don't. Tiana paused, casting a forlorn gaze in Ryan's direction, not letting you walk twice. She turned back to Ink and continued, seemingly unperturbed. I'm not sure that he told you about his pasting, but I'm sure he was happy to omit his arson strike. Arson? For real? The reason we broke up, the real reason. I was looking to approach a committee called the Bellbridge University Sponsorship Council to found an algorithm he was working on. RN, an advanced search algorithm, or something along those lines. That's the one. But Ryan was hesitant to part with his precious algorithm. The council was run by a handful of professors, but he didn't want to share RN with just anyone. So he did some digging. Could he trust these people? They were garbage, nearly all of them. Extortion, bigotry, embezzlement. My second time we see this word here. It made me sick. Yeah, but instead of reporting them to the police like a normal person, you had to go all vigilant and burn the hacking property down. Yeah, but who died in it? Was it some warped sense of justice, or did you just want to bring successful people down to your level? Is this true, right? What Tiana's saying? Yes. I torched 3 buildings. 3? Almost 4? Oh gosh. 2 of them were their homes. Okay, so it was some patterns at home. One was that bookstore you liked. That was you? The owner took advantage of a few of his students, that's all I'm gonna say. Yes, I had no idea he was even on that console. My father was on that console too. Were you there? Yeah, that was me. I was in the house at night, I could have died. I don't think I didn't know. I figured if anyone was inside, they'd be able to make it out without any issues. There's a big house, tons of windows. I was blind. I didn't know that, obviously. If someone hadn't tipped off our security, we wouldn't have had the extra personnel to chase you off. You could have killed me. Sorry, it was a mistake. I didn't want to hurt anyone, I just wanted to drive those people out of the console to give them enough other stuff to deal with that they drop out. Bullshit. You said you wanted to accuse them of their materialism. How sick in the head do you have to be to say something like that? If he's saying differently right now, this means he changed his mind. So in the past, yes, but nowadays. People simply don't understand that people constantly change. Being the same person 1 month ago and now it's totally different person. Hold on a second. He told you about his arson spree. No, but he was spending a few nights out suspiciously late, so I decided to do a little digging of my own. I thought he'd been cheating on me and never would have imagined the truth to be so much worse. As if destroying someone's home wasn't rotten enough. He was even heartless enough to kill. So it's true then, you ended up killing someone? And like that, I always made sure that no one would get hurt, but pets weren't part of that equation. Oh. It was after his third fire that I was able to piece everything together. The years we'd spent together no longer mattered. I knew I had to make him pay for what he'd done. But for all your posturing, you didn't go to the cops either. You did the baddest thing possible and took Aaron from me. I would have gone to the police, but I did have the foresight to tip off the Thatcher residence and prevent any more damage. But like, why didn't you go to the police? Prison wasn't good enough. I wanted him to feel the loss that he inflicted upon those men and women. I wanted him to feel as betrayed as I did. And wait a second. They were a couple. Why should you go to police? I don't know. If it's your partner, you'll always protect him, and if you made him suffer, yes, you will steal the RN. I do understand her now. She was right. Oh, and that's why he couldn't prove that RN was his. You have just ratted him out to the police if he'd spoken out against you. And vice versa. You spill the beans about your plagiarism if you let approach the police. You had knives at each other's throats. Okay, now for some reason I like Tiana. I never haven't mentioned any of this. You both seem so normal, I guess. It's what happens when you deal with Ryan. He's sociopath who brings out the worst in people. No one else here could kill someone and act so normal afterwards. If it doesn't convince you that Ryan is responsible for Beth's death, then know what will. Wait a second, many people kill another... well, not pets, but animals, insects, and so what? I'm not the man I was all those years ago, and yeah, that's also right. I was a good person. I didn't kill her. Then who did? I stand by what I said. I had to have been Ether. I think that Tiana actually splits up with Sin and it was Seal on the one. Leave me out of this. I'm telling you, it was Tiana. Go over Rice's irrational criminal history. And you still don't believe me? Everyone just shut up for a second. I can't concentrate with everyone yelling at me. Yes, of course. So everyone's given their side of the story. But who did it? Who do you believe? And can we step aside for a moment? What about the others? We aren't going to kill each other while you off talking in the corner. That's what you were worried about. Fine, I don't know how long you'll be, so you might as well get comfy. I'd rather not. With that, Tiana rotated to the corner of the room, putting her back to the far wall. So, what do you think? I don't think there are significant enough holes in any of other stories, any of their stories to name a culprit. None that I've noticed anyway. No, you're right. I don't think you got an airtight case against any of them. Do you have any outstanding thoughts on any of the three, specifically? Tiana strikes me the most enigmatic of the three. I was starting to like her, but ultimately don't know very much about her. Everything she said sounded sensible, but I don't know. Something about her still doesn't feel quite right. What's weird to me is that she thinks that Ryan is the culprit and not Ether. If you look at the facts, Ether is definitely the most suspicious of the three, but rather than hard facts, Tiana's accusation is based on character. Do you think she's blinded by revenge? I'll ignore the comment for now. Anyway, when there aren't enough facts to go off, I don't think it's unreasonable to accuse someone based on past experience. Again, this off. How many times I noticed this in game? And only in this game. Never heard about it before. I mean, such word combination, it's Makes sense, but I'd never heard it in any book, etc. Strange. Maybe evidence is still king, though, because usually you should not put the repeatable words even they sound alike. Man, I still can't believe Raya burned down Bellbridge books. You think that's bad? I just learned that Ryan nearly killed me a few years ago. I thought I trusted him, but I'm not so sure anymore. Why would he want to kill Beth, though? Doesn't make any sense. Why would any of them want to kill Beth? Oh, wait a second. It was her son who was typing her. Yeah, we still don't know where's her son. We still don't know where's Ether's father. And... oh, Lisa's father as well. What if Lisa's father and Ed's father are the same person, maybe? Don't think motif is something we'll be able to figure it out right now. We'll have to focus on means and opportunity instead. You know, the problem is that there's 4 letters in send. So sin, even no one can say that it was like double contact with someone. Same for Tiana. So what is left is this Errol, Nolan, and the other contact. So one of them is also an acid contact, right? That's why in send there's only 4 letters, not 5. Explanation! It's just 4 contacts, not 5. Alright, speaking of which, I know Etta had the best opportunity. She had the biggest window to carry out the crime. Just, I really don't want it to be her. Me neither. It wasn't Etta. The culprit would have been really quick or really lucky to sneak in the bedroom undetected. And maybe they had some help? If the murderer somehow knew that the earthquake was coming, they could have planned around it. That's a big if. Is it? The earthquake staggered us, but we didn't even fall down, you know? Someone had known it was going to happen, but they could move between rooms while it was going off. Even if that is true, how do we prove that someone knew about the earthquake? I don't know, okay? I'm just trying to help. I'm trying to look at this from every angle. Every possibility. I'm not trying to attack your theories, specifically. Playing devil's advocate helps me think through things. Seriously, advocate? Why it's not attorney? And I heard that many people say lawyer, but obviously lawyer is not the word that you must use. Why people are using it? I'm worried that I can't afford to dismiss everything. There's too much in line. You mean on the line? Listen, it's been a long day. It was intentionally. Isn't it? He sighed, pinching the bridge of his nose as if would suddenly spur him awake. It did not. So what else have you got? Is there anything else you think I'm overlooking? It's one thing, yeah. I had to bring this up, but we can't leave sin out of the equation. It could have been him too, I know. At the same time, even if it was him, there's not much we can do about it. He'd have had the same alibi as Tiana, plus he went and sacrificed himself shortly after. That'll be such funny music. He's definitely not dead. And he knew about this. Is it just me, or did Beth seem a little suspicious of him? Sin, that is. Beth. I think you imagine things, though. I think she knew someone was going to come after her. He reached into his jacket pocket and ran his fingers across Beth's letter, if only to make sure it was still there. At the very least, she suspected it. Then why didn't she say anything about it? I don't know. But I trust Beth. If she knew something, I bet there was a good reason for not sharing it with us. Hope you're right. Don't write it down as the contestants chewed on their thoughts. You've gone over so many details, but I don't feel like we've made any actual progress towards finding the killer. Why does it feel like we are going in cycles? And why is my heart beating so quickly? I'm never going to solve it at this rate. So, I never asked, now that we've gone over everything, do you think you know what it was? Sin? It was sin. That's what I think anyway. Nobody asked you. Be quiet. He's talking to us. Why? Shaking his head in an attempt to drive me out, focused on the person in front of him. No, sorry. I don't know who did it. I can't even narrow it down to two people. I'd say working for Sand. Is Sand working for them? I have no idea. I'm at a loss for what to do. We just don't have enough evidence. By the way, if actually Sin really represents us, I now understand what I saw at the very beginning of this game, in the first chapter, when I actually thought that Sin is some middle-aged woman, because it represents both man and woman. I mean, player. Can be any gender, right? Simply any gender. That's why he actually looked boss. It's never stopped you before, though, but we saw it only at the very beginning. Yeah, and once. We didn't have any concrete evidence, and it first discovered that Sen was speaking to us in real time. Yeah, but that wasn't real detective work, just a cheeky trick. Who's to say you couldn't do something like that again? Aside from possibly the culprits themselves, you know more about exit corners than anyone here. Maybe you can leverage that knowledge and trick the murderer into revealing something. Knowing more than anyone else is hardly an accomplishment. I mean, with all the good it's done us. All I've ever done is delight the inevitable. Face it, Visa, I'm useless. Don't give me that crap. I meant not like you, but I know you can do this. She grabbed him by the collar and stuck her face not an inch away from his own. You've got nearly 24 hours worth of events to rummage through. You've got your Jiminy. You've got me. And who actually woke up first? Lisa was the last? Heather and me was the last? Bess and Ryan? Stop being so mopey. I'm not letting you just give up. Why actually we have a time limit in this game? I don't quite understand this. Well, in Zero Escape it was kinda obvious. In Danganronpa, for example, there was no time limit. Like in any other novel or quest that I played. It was strangely invigorating gesture. It was as if she were lending him some of her grit. What? Right, you're right. She finally let him go when she could see his panic. Sabbath. Come on, so many new words. All I need is one thing. One good lead. That's it. His brain ran on Thomas. Ink closed his eyes and reached through his memory. He had to try. He thought back on his time in the 4 elements, on the 5 original contestants, the 2 new ones, and the cybernetic mastermind behind it all. He thought back on the puzzles. One on the trails and traps that stood in his way and the negative space required to overcome them. He thought back on his Jiminy, on the message Sin sent him, and the one Sin sent him. Sent. Wait a second. In fumbling for his Gemini, nearly dropping it in the process, he scrolled through his message history and he found what he was looking for. It was, as he'd remembered, the tiniest of hints, but hints nonetheless. Hey Lisa, you think of something? Still have pen and paper in the back of yours, right? What, right now it was some kind of puzzle, no? I actually like in Zero Escape when you actually can solve some mystery by selecting the right answer. Well, of course it will not happen here, but still. You have some envelopes and flashcards too. But what's it for? I'll need 3 pens and 3 flashcards. We're going all in. Busting out the pocket turns, are we? This must be the real deal. Lisa fished out the goods in seconds. Ian grabbed them from Hugh as he made his way to the center of the room. Hey everyone, we are done talking, come on over to the bar. Ryan, who was really only a few paces away from Ink, melted in his chair to face him. So you figured out who it was? Something like that. I need everyone to grab one of this and one of this. And check the colors, what? Other two reached Ink just as he was handing out the flashcards and pens. What is this for? It's time for pop quiz. What? Don't feel comfortable doing this. He's so clearly meant to deceive us somehow. If you're innocent, you've got nothing to worry about. Suddenly silent, Tiana ripped the items out of Ink's outstretched hand. Everyone good? I'm going to have you all write something for me. Hang on, I'm not going to be able to write with only my left hand. Can't even hold the paper now. Lisa, can you hold the flashcards too, for Ryan? Fine. We also have Ryan? A little? Just don't expect it to be super legible. Wait a second, it's related to the text that Sin sent you? Or sent you? Did he do some mistake? Because, well, of course I'm not good in spelling in English. I don't understand what he's trying to do. Well, I cannot check what was the log of the message to be sure. So it'll be fine. Okay, everyone got a spot at the bar? Good. To start, can you each write your name at the top left of the card? Full name? Yeah, full name. Next, in the top right of the card, I'd like you to write today's date. 379. You mean... No, talking, just write it out. Nodding meekly, Ethan returned to his shit. Next, below your name, I want you to write out the following questions. How many contestants are played exit corners? Wait a second! Okay, I know what the trick is. So Ink actually knows the name of this game with slash, like the chapter name. Alright, so he actually wants to know who actually knows this. Easy, very easy trick. Wait a second, I totally forgot about the name of the chapter. If I still recall it, remember it, figured out it earlier. But now it's kinda obvious. Come on man, I'm having enough trouble writing things out as it is. Do I have to write out that entire thing? Sorry, you need to write the question out in full. How many contestants are playing exit corners? But wait a second, you must ask them to write the name of the game? Seriously, I don't know. Wait a second, now I don't know. I was actually... Gosh. Okay, maybe there will be another question? What are you reading? It's just a few words, but... It sounds very logical, right? Almost done, I promised. Finally. Well, you probably guessed it. Just answer the question. Print the number below the question itself. Oh, you must write down the question. Okay, so it's right. Suit me. Done. Me too. Same. Don't say I didn't warn you. That's it then. Hand me your papers. Ian took the flashcards and set them down on a nearby table. That's right. Exit corners. With slash. That's a Irving? She's Irving? My first city in the United States was Irving. Tiana wait a second. Trar? Is it the same R? Very strange. It's the same letter why you wrote it differently. Ryan Nandon? Okay. Date. Wait a second, why it's today's is 20th? As far as we can know, today is marriage 79, which is 19. Wait a second. So it's not a date. On their phones, PDA, they have different date. I'm not quite sure. And why actually date goes first here? First should be months, like Ether wrote it. March 21st. They wrote it like their language, original language, not English. Okay, for Tiana, maybe she's from North Korea. Who knows? But Rai was living here. Oh gosh, there's so many questions. And why different number who is playing? So originally, players were 5 of players. That's right. Tiana answered like she's no these games. Okay, Ether said 7 because 2 were added. Rice selected 6 because 1 is dead. One is dead, right? 2 is dead. Wait a second, so it must be 5. Oh gosh. Why he wrote 6? 7 was kinda obvious. There's too many questions about this paper. Okay, date I might be explained. Tiana is from the out of this world and maybe knows something about the game, but why Rai wrote 6? That's my main question. Why is it 6? Maybe they will explain it. So, I was right. To not mount a scan the card, but how can it prove that someone is killer? This, I don't know. It would be more logical if actually Tiana wrote 6. Didn't I expect them to be so different from one another? Did you find what you were looking for? I think I did. The one key details here that suggested to me is that one of you knows more than you're letting on. What about you? Did you figure it out? Yes, but I didn't figure it out about number 6. It still questions me. I'd gotten so wrapped up in what was going on that it took me a moment to realize that Ink had directed that last question at me. I know you're there. Humor me, will you? Arthur? Seriously, what is this? Do you know what I was referring to? What element stands out as suspicious? Yeah. Their names? No. Their dates? No. Their questions? Their questions. Answers also puzzle me, but here it's kinda questions. The questions, of course. You insisted that they spell it out in full after all. In fact, I think I see what you were getting at. Good observation. Ian turned to his fellow contestants. First of all, thanks for cooperating. I don't like having to boss people around. So what was with the questioner? How many contestants are playing exit corners? Were you counting Bess? Sin? Oh, that's irrelevant. Okay, so So that's why you wrote 6, okay, maybe. As some of you may have already guessed, the answer isn't what important here. Most of what I had you write served as a distraction. Your names? Interesting maybe, but I don't have any way to verify that you're telling the truth. The date, I see two different answers here, so at least one of you is wrong. But I don't care that you've gotten something wrong. What bothers me is what you've gotten right. So tell me, Tiana, how did you know there was a slash in exit corners? That's the name of the game, of course. Things is, you've only ever heard the name. You've never seen it written. You only ever said exit corners amongst ourselves, not exit corners or exit slash corners. The only way you'd have known there was a slash in the name if you'd seen it written. Well, how do you know there's a slash? In flashed his Gemini in Tiana's direction. A little bird told me. Did you kill Beth? I knew sand had been a bad idea. So you are part of this? Are you fucking serious? This is what I get for putting my face in you? I'm not letting you get away with this. Everyone, get ready to grab her. You'll need to tie her up with something. Not sure what, but let's you get her pinned. Ian took a cautious step towards her, the others following suit. Ink. I'd like to see you try. With a burst of energy that surprised even him, he leaped at Tiana, arms outstretched in front of him. While through he was, Tiana was faster still, and she was off in full sprint before he ever got close. Within the barred sectors, the other contestants, she was relatively boxed in, rather than outmaneuver the others. She opted to charge at full speed, directly towards Ether. As I went for a grab as Tiana got closer, but with a last-minute throw to the left, Tiana nimbly avoided her grasp. As she pirouetted around as lunge, she fished for something that had been tucked into her corset. But Tiana not just avoiding her shoes? No! It was over before it began. Gosh, why do you have something like a knife? Nobody can move. Tiana gripped the sharper glass so tightly that it was slicing her own hand. She seems unfazed by it. She must have pocketed from the scene of the crime. Let her go, or wait a second, what is this? It's not a glass. Or what? You got no leverage here. Listen well, Ether will be coming with me. I'd prefer you alive, but I'll cart your corpse around if I have to. And on Ether, we'll think of something. No, you will not. You're going to do as I say, or I will hurt you. How is the sweet doctor, What are your demons? You're going to leave the Four Elements Hotel. That's what we were this close to finishing the game, but you all had to keep derailing it in the most aggravating ways possible. So you know what? This game is over. Sand. What? Yes? Of course he's watching. He's always watching. You're going to open the exit. They don't need the key cards anymore. Just let them leave. Of course. What? There's so many chapters left, and what's going on? It's exit already? So he takes orders from you, You're a fool if you think I'm going to stand here and answer your questions. Everyone, please escape while you still can. Shut your mouth and stop screaming so much. Come, we are leaving. Let's take a look at that head of yours. Sen, unlock this door for us. As you wish. And is that the way gone, retreating deeper into the Labyrinth Hotel. Where was the puzzle? What? I demand the puzzle. Gauntlet. Gauntlet. Hello, Mort. Yes, by Foxy Shadow. Well, can't count that request, because Foxy never requesting something, but he's saying, oh, you might need to play this game, and now I have even two games, not even this, it's the first one. The next will be the second one that I will play, but the second one will be should be short, like 4 hours. Is it all then? His? No else? If you're talking about Zero Escape, it was actually my request. She's just letting us go. But yeah, in this novel, puzzles are super short, so it's mostly reading the text. In Zero Escape, you can actually suck like 10 hours in puzzles. Even if you finish them very quick, it still takes a lot of time, because it's actually a quest. Mostly it's quests, it's not just puzzles. But here they're so short. I don't know, maybe maximum 5 minutes I spent on one of them. She's just letting us go? That's what it sounds like, yeah. The contestants should have been relieved. The exit had been opened, their lives spared, but an aura of defeat permitted the already gloomy room. I can't believe Tiana's part of this. Didn't think I'd get burned a second time, you know? I know that sucks, right? In an act that surprised all 3 of them, Lisa put her hand on Rai's shoulder. She was so much shorter than he was that it looked a little silly, but he seems to appreciate the gesture. But why did she take Ether? What's so special about that girl? Well, the last corner was her corner, and I still don't understand. I don't understand what was her contact. It was really her father. And she is afraid of... well, she has claustrophobia. She can predict something. Well, prediction is pretty lame. It's related to that we are in the world of CPU. Like, I have no mouse, but I must scream. This was M who controlled everything. But here? Tiana mentions taking a look at your head. I hope they and it's figuratively. She's clairvoyant, that's why. Clairvoyance? Like a fortune teller? Sort of. I don't think she can tell the future, but she knows things without having learned them. That's what her hunch was back there. She knew that Tiana and Sin split up for a short while, but didn't have any physical proof. Damn it all. I should have listened to her from the start. Slow down. You're talking about the powers here. That's pseudo-scenic 101. I mean, how's that even possible? I don't know, but I've seen enough that I'm convinced it's real. Guess I'm gonna question it at this point. How do you know all this anyway? Heather told me in confidence. She said that her powers were acting up more than usual today. Something bigger is afoot here, something just out of our reach. And look to the monitor in the corner of the room. Do either of you know how much time we have left before the F-elements collapses? Nah, but if I had to guess, less than 2 hours probably. I see. I'm going after her. What? Are you crazy? Tiana gave us a chance to escape and you're just going to throw it away? You can't just leave Arthur hanging. Besides, I want to know the truth behind what happened to us, don't you? Sure, but I don't want to die for it. There should still be enough time left to save Arthur. Get some answers and leave. Tiana just going to let you waltz on in after her. Looks like the puzzles are still online, see? Motions to the monitor, anchored to the barroom wall. Sure enough, the puzzles from earlier was still on screen. It's still gonna be dangerous. Exactly. Ink, you're making a huge mistake. I don't care. I can't let things end like this. Atheist. Should have trusted her from the beginning. If I hadn't lumped her in with the other aspects, I could have kept her by my side. Get you hurt out of the cause. I hated to, but there's nothing you can do for her now. Don't forget that there's still one corner left. They've been getting worse and worse. You'll probably die in there. Figure something out. I have so far. Listen, I'm not expecting your sympathy or your help. The two of you can escape. Just call the police or something as soon as you figure out where exactly we are. But wait a second. Right now you'll be the same situation like never-ending. Wait a second. Neverwinter Nights. Neverwinter Nights 2. So they will still has dependent on the trust system or leave. Well, so far we have only two people. It's useless. Just let him go, Lisa. Fine then. Go get yourself killed if that's what makes you happy. So because we didn't max it out, they both leave? Neither one of them could look Ink in the eye. Yet clearly disappointed at both of them in more ways than one. I guess this is goodbye then. Guess so. I hope you can save Ether at least. Me too. Watch out for Tiana. Seriously. Ryan strode over to the door, which Lisa had been politely holding open for him, and walked through without looking back. At least they got each other. That's fine, I don't need them. Horsing them under his breath, Ink moved over to the puzzle. Time to focus. Hand the ether. Excuse me, but we saw it already. And we can ask Ink, I mean, maybe us. Why is this the same puzzle? Not quite sure. Anyway, we must move it here. This one there. No. Something to the top. Wait a second. Cannot put it in the top, maybe it's not here. No, it should be here. Ah, it can be there. Or not. Wait a second, this double... It's double blue. So this must be connected anyway. It's almost done. Is it done? Все, пацался, собирайся. Sounds like it still works. If I remember the words correctly, the next room should be an L-shaped hallway. No 379 picture okay. Naturally, Ink had been right. He strode into the room and made right for the monitor. Puzzle here looks operational too good. But close inspection, this room puzzle had yet another familiar theme. Ink couldn't help but smirk upon seeing it. Not going to stop me with that, Tiana. Okay, which word do I see here? And KKJ. Last time they say it actually was a scissor puzzle, but I... Well, it could be moon. Let's open alphabet. Last time maybe I didn't notice it was a alphabet. Alphabet. Alright. Looks like the correct one. But I said it was not a request. But if you mention something, I must play it. I'm just looking where should we move from here. And okay, J. Oh, J and N. Wait a second. J and K is the same. So it could be. What could it be? Don't close it. Come on. Should we pay $5 for alphabet? Ah, come on. Actually, it's where you must use the pen. Okay, I see. So in the middle, it must be woven, right? It can be. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I don't have a pen here, so I must think about it in my mind. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It sounds very stupid. It's gonna be okay. Let's try this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, stupid. This time it's not so easy. Okay, what about this? I'm moving this. Moving that. Oh, this one. Already lost where I was. Yes. Come on. Stupid idea. But so I forgot why ink is alone here. But N is near, as I recall. Ink alone here because we didn't max out the trust. So if you had someone here, because your answer were better than mine, I actually tried to raise the trust, but looks like I failed. But no, we must figure it out ourselves. No hints at all. No hints. You was alone here too? But I think it's related to the trust system. Gosh. GYYX. So it goes to the left and right. Should I go and grab the pen? Okay, I will take the pen, because I cannot count everything on my phone. Must write it down. Be right back very quick. Finally found it. Sorry, anyway, no, there's nobody here, but I need pen and paper, because if the first time I was wrong and actually it was what was this? Tether cipher or something. But Foxy Shadow saying that it's possibility it's almost impossible to decipher without asking yourself. Everything is possible to decipher, except if it's not Enigma machine. Whew, I was writing pretty fast here. Oh, by the way, we can skip the puzzle, look at this. Alright. So, what we need to concentrate about these two words? Well, this tree can be there, of course, but I don't know right now. For example, the last one. But so if we know this word, how will it help anything like them? Z, I mean. N, only N here. And K. Okay, I don't know about this one. Anyway, let's see. If we move the J, so U will be O. The closest one is Y, but I don't remember any words with double Y. For example, double O. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Double O. Let's see about X. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is R. J, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's actually a word door. This is possible, that's why I say almost. I'm not sure whether the puzzle is really hard. It was 4 years ago, I just... Yeah, so the last word actually door. Immediately when I grab this. So, we are moving to the 6 on the left. The third one. V. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. G. P. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. P. Yes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright. So this is also E. This one. Okay, I was right, it looks like there. So it's H double E. Hid? Hid means height. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, this one done. I don't know what does it mean. Oh, come on. Done. I should almost have a paper. Easy enough. Ian scratched his head, trying to recall the other wings layouts. That may have been the last puzzle, assuming the wings are all the same and the next room is a corner. Taking a deep breath, Ink cracked the door open and pushed on. What? What the heck? More monitors, a door that leads deeper into the hotel, and no set pieces of obvious danger. Enigma? Of course not. The problem with Enigma, it also counts the positions, the current position of the word, so it's simply not possible to pick up because there's no key. Key does not exist, so you cannot decipher it. To decipher you need another Enigma machine. Without it, it's impossible, so that's it. This doesn't feel like a corner at all. In had a quick look around the room. There were many monitors lined the walls. There was but a single puzzle mountain. The rest was simply blank. I have to do them in order, don't I? There will be 4 puzzles? No use complaining. I can't waste any time. Let's start with number 1. Alright, no tiles of the same color, my touch. This one I really hated. Oh gosh, we cannot move it here. So this will not touch. Done? This time it was super easy. Done? Good. It took a moment to compose himself. He hadn't been doing any exercise and yet he still felt winded. Was it nerves? He shook it off to be the best of his ability. Can't rest, after in danger. So did solving that puzzle actually do anything? Where's the next one? In glanced around the room. Sure enough, it appears that one of the blank monitors now had a puzzle on it. Just a little more. Oh gosh. Repeat the pattern. Let's see. It's moving clockwise. Mirror itself. Not repeating. Okay, let's start from here. Let's see. Move. Yeah, repeating. Moving, rotating, repeating. Okay, it's good. We must start from one of them. Can I start from this one? If it's repeat itself, it will be the same symbol. Okay, here. What is it doing? It's like takes part of this one. What should be here? This? Or that? Oh, it's already too late. Oh, wait a second. Let's leave it like this. What is doing quite the opposite? Like this? I think it's incorrect. It's correct. Okay, another easy puzzle. In shook his head. The puzzles were all starting to look the same to him. So pressing a couple scuffs, he made his way over to the next monitor that lit up. Can't stop now, I'm almost there. You're not surprised? But it was just question from series of IQ questions, and as I said in the past, I solved many of them. They're super easy. Turn 3 circles into 1 square. Well, of course it's not possible to do this. This normal space. It must be a negative space. You have always had a problem with patterns? It might be the only thing where I'm good at. Nothing else. For example, I have really troubles playing Ace Attorney. All the time, and just picking out the answers. Cannot think out of the box. Okay, negative space. It must be square. 1 square. It doesn't look like a square. And just 1, so we must use all of them. Wait a second. Alright. This. Okay. Listen Ink braced himself against the wall. Now why I'm so tired? Doesn't matter, just one more, then we can go home. Just one more. But Ink froze as he read the clue on the final monitor. Enter password? Is it will be like in Zero Escape? This isn't a puzzle at all, is it? I mean, 9 men, 9 doors, 9 hours. How am I supposed to get through? Password could be anything, right? How am I supposed to know what it is? Guess I'll just have to try. It is a puzzle. The password. Yep, another Zero Escape. 9? You think it's 9? All the time it was 379. And 4 as well, 4, but... So what? 379. I still don't know what it means, but... Somehow, I knew that was the answer. Because... I don't know, Foxy, how did you figure it out if you didn't play Zero Escape before this? Of course you didn't play it. No, because I played it. But was it easy for you? I mean, what else could it have been? There's so much I still don't understand. You don't remember? Confused, exhausted, and all around stressed, Ink nudged the door ajar. What the heck? What is this place? Let's see. Is it this neurotic interface which we read about several chapters ago? But why it's inside the corners? That's my question. 2 is red. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them. Yeah. Well, we don't know what is on the right. What? Tiana stood near the desks at the far corner of the room. How do you get in here? Tiana, Sam told you the password, didn't he? You had it from the very beginning of this game. Of course not. Did you really think I wouldn't figure it out? 379? Of all things. 379? That's not the password. What are you talking about? So what was the password? To the Matrix? Well, I'm more than sure that we are already connected to the Matrix. By the way, Kuluk played one of this game, Harvester. Just recently, I don't remember how recently, maybe 2 months ago, I remember he played it. I didn't request it, but he played it. Whatever, it doesn't matter now. So the goal of the game was to actually make a maniac killer. And there's 2 endings where you can become one by killing every single one, because some kills are not counted because they were programs. But one of them was a real person, and if you kill it, you actually win the game. If you disagree, they will kill you. Right. Ink. Wait a second, I thought you here in this one. Ether was sitting awkwardly on one of the machines at the back, whatever they were. The slanting design made them poor benches. She stood up as soon as she noticed Ink. So I told you to escape. Not leaving. Not without you. You came all on your own for me? Answer, shut up or I'll... Not now. Tiana lurched forward, just normally catching herself before she crashed into her computers. Into her computers? What? Your computers? The hand over her mouth did nothing to stop the deluge of blood that came forth. Heather, now's your chance, run to me! Okay. The few seconds that it took Heather to sprint the length of the room seems to stretch on forever. Ink was waiting for something catastrophic to occur as she bowled past the bleeding Tiana. But nothing happened. Heather reached his Outstretched arms with no problems. Are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. We need to get out of here. Send! Tiana's voice came booming from the back of the room. Look the goddamn dawn already! That's an order! Yes, of course. So all this time Senna was on our side, or what? Ian's heart sank as he heard the door behind him snap closed. Yeah, because he was constantly, like I saw you, helping us. Tiana, having seemingly recovered in seconds, approached the pair with a confident stride. Ian turned to face her. Let us go. Not happening. Rather than finish crossing the hallway, Tiana took a seat on one of the bedside stools. I'm going to wait here, all of us. You sure about that? How much time do we have until the hotel collapses? An hour? 2 at most? Don't break. We are waiting. I don't think we have much of a choice. So he had nowhere to run. Ink put as much distance between himself and Tiana as he could, making sure to keep Ether behind him. So, what is this place? Some kind of laboratory? Or is this a corner too? Neither. This is just our headquarters. It's not actually a part of the game. What? At least it wasn't supposed to be. You and the other contestants seem to have a habit of wearing, of course. Speaking of which, I've got to ask, how long has Sam been texting you on your Gemini? What should I tell you? Answer my questions and I'll keep answering yours. You want to know the truth, don't you? Fine. Sam started messaging me shortly after we entered the black door. He told me to keep it under wraps. I guess he'd get in trouble if you ever found it. Loads. I never liked Sam in the first place, but at this point he'll be lucky if he avoids the refactor. So you had something to do with his creation, then, hmm? On the implementation side, I didn't do anything of his design. Just how many people are involved with this game? Shockingly few, given the circumstances. My father is one of them, isn't he? Wait, what? When Tiana was bringing me here, she said we were going to meet up with my father. So Lisa's father and your father is the same person or what? The whole father thing is just gross, but yes, he's involved. That's why we are all waiting here actually. He's bound to arrive any minute. Ether's father. I don't even know his name, but everything I've heard about him paints him as an awful man. Suppose I'm not that surprised he is involved. Speak of the devil. Go ahead and unlock the door, Sand. Hola. So who is in the last capsule? Was it closed? In turned towards the door. I snarled and ready for anything. Or so he thought. As I thought, he's not dead. Guess I've got some explaining to do, huh? But how can he be a father of Esther? Oh, Esther's computer program. Like in Harvester. That's why he's father, because he created it. Yeah? Explains everything. So see, we didn't... Okay, there's 5 of them. And still question marks. 5! I don't quite understand how it was possible to max it up. Okay, for him, I know 2 questions that I could rise it and maybe put it down, but for Lisa? I believe I did everything to max it out. No idea. Still question marks. Interesting. 28 final? Finale. You don't remember anything? Bess is dead? Bess is dead. She was killed by Tiana. I don't know why, of course. I don't understand. Sin? In the flesh. Told you I'll see you around, didn't I? Sin stood at the foot of the room, unable to move, unable to see. Sin strolled towards him, not a care in the world. You don't remember at all? You gonna let me through, what? Taking the smallest of steps to the left, Ing could only stare in disbelief as his friends strode past him. So, how this game will be ended, you don't know. Hold up. What's up? What's this about my father? So, he's not your father. So my question is, Ether, is it a real person or computer program? Oh, that? Turns out, playing the part of irredeemable, abusive father is super easy. Then, on the other end of my Gemini that was... me? Yeah? Then straight off, not waiting for Ether's reply. Guess you will get another ending for finding all alternative solutions. Okay. I wonder what will happen if it marks the trust. Okay, so the next ending we must watch on YouTube, I believe. Things grew increasingly muddled as he took a seat next to Diana. What's going on, Sin? Easy, buddy, I'm just caught here. You got all? Don't you bother me. What the heck is going on, Sin? Why you? I don't understand. Oops, looks like I broke Ether. I think I'm going to be sick. Ing could feel the blood drain from his face. Little surprise, it felt like half of it was coming out of his mouth. You can relax, it's over. Over? Exit corners. The game is over. Done. Finito. You put up a good fight, but you've ultimately lost. Don't feel bad, though the odds were always against you. But I'm still alive and I haven't escaped. That's irrelevant. You were never playing the game you were. I? He struggled backwards, bombing into the door behind him. It was closed again. Locked to boot. There was nothing for him to go. There's no point in trying to escape. I can see that I just... Ink threw his head into his hands. I have so many questions. Anyway, I'll answer you. It's the least I can do after jerking you around for so long. Okay, my question is, why Bess was killed? I still don't understand why. Well, I thought she can really reveal something, but no, what she can reveal? It's almost the end of the game. What's the point to kill her? Sin motion to the beds. Here, have a seat. Ink and Asa complied. They whispered to each other as they sat down. What do we do? Just stay on your guard for now. I'll try to think of something while we asking them questions. I'm scared, Ink. Nothing's going to happen to you, I promise. Now, where should I begin? From the top. Very well. This housekeeping may take a while. You're done here, so feel free to log off anytime. What are you talking about? Sorry, that wasn't aimed at you. What the hell is going on? You'll understand soon enough. Just sit tight. Taking a deep breath, Im managed to calm down just enough to stop shaking. Go on then. Exit Corners is a joint collaboration between Sin, myself, and our project lead, Nolan Thatcher. Lisa's dead? He sent off his own daughter to die? Of course not, no harm was to ever come to her. Notice how Sin's completely fine. There was never any acid trap back in the black corner. So yeah, turns out the person behind this has access to tons of cash. Shocking, huh? No, he isn't here, though. Just the two of you. Mr. Thatcher is both monitoring us and tending to our visitor. He's too busy with that to be here in person. Strictly speaking, we're not supposed to be here either. Then why? Sin and I are damage control. There was an overreaching plan for how things were supposed to go down, but even before the first corner, you began to screw it all up. You were sent here to set you back on the right path. What was the right path for Ing? Why didn't you take it from here, Sin? It was your plan after all. Sure, Sin. Ing and Ether practically leaped to their feet at Sin's nonchalant confession. Wait, you were the one to plan this whole thing? Not the whole thing, but most of it, yeah. I'm this game's designer. Still, you were an engineer, though. And I am, in a sense. Wait a second, software engineer can be a game designer, but really, when have you ever seen me do anything even remote engineering? Even you, Ink. Well, nothing. Ink had always just taken Sin's word for it. You see, but I'm what you'd call a social engineer. I'm good at making people do what I want them to. The more I know about someone, the better I can predict their next move. The plan was for you contestants to go through this game in a certain order. After clearing the first few rooms, you were to enter the red corner, followed by the green corner. But wait, the consent actually states that you should go to green, then the black corner, and finally the blue corner. Okay. So wait a second, so I didn't follow this. Problem is that Rai was saved by Beth, but if the red corner would be first, he would be saved, obviously. So how the order can do something? Because that's not what happened. Things started to go wrong when you deduced that Sand was speaking to you in real time. You weren't supposed to learn that until he told you later on. Then you got on his good side and he gave you the damned choice. Still, that shouldn't have been a big deal, in theory. But then Beth survived the green corner, which wasn't supposed to happen. Then as a direct result of that, Raya ended up surviving the red corner. But you just say that the red one should be first, followed by the green corner, so she's obviously survived. I don't quite understand this. It's some error in this scenario. That one was definitely not supposed to happen. And at that point, no one told us that we had to join you ourselves. It was pretty much the ultimate contingency to make sure that the rest of the game ran as smoothly as possible. So it's true then, you wanted us to die. Correction, I want you to want to die, as some of you have already guessed. That's absolutely horrible. You're lying. In coughed up words between sobs, he was in no state to hold a conversation. What could possibly drive you or anyone to kill people in such an awful way? Everyone's fine, it's no big deal. People have died soon. Nah. Bess isn't alive, she's probably sleeping here as we speak. If you follow, I have no mouse, but I must scream, she is actually dead. Rai's arm isn't actually gone either. You aren't making any sense. Listen, you might want to sit back down for this next bit. Fine where I am, thanks. I'm not kidding. Your body isn't going to like this. Oh, certainly not. Don't. Yeah, that goes. The bug? He waited with bated breath for their bleeding to subside. The guy had something important to share. Finally, Sin spoke. It's not real, dude. So he didn't understand. Ink immediately grew nauseous. The hotel, the bomb, the danger, none of it is real. Not the real you used to. Anyway. Okay, we knew about this almost on our second stream. So before even the middle of this game. Well, that's not quite true. We are real. Our consciousnesses at least. Then what? What's going on? Yin could barely speak the words. His voice was suddenly hoarse, as if he'd just been screaming. Wiping his blooded nose on his sleeve, Sin lifted himself back upright. Wait a second, my question is now, why are you not letting us go, but we are still inside so-called virtual reality? It would be nice if you actually release us and tell us everything about this without this bleeding stuff, etc. Then the rub. This place, unavoidable side effect. The reason we had to kidnap you folks in the first place. So what? This is some kind of hallucination? Shared dream? You're not far off. The most accurate word to use would be simulation. But even that doesn't quite do this place justice. It's the combination of years of hard work. There's nothing quite like it. Our internal name for it is Corners. How is it even possible? That sounds like science fiction. It does, doesn't it? Fortunately, this technology is far beyond either of you. There would be no point in getting into the nitty-gritty of it. Just know that this place is built on 3 distinct pillars: proprietary hardware, cutting-edge software, and your own minds. Right, that I couldn't possibly understand that edge. Still, what do you mean by our own minds? Well, if it was Metal Gear, they would explain everything in 10 hours or so. It's... By the way, yeah, Metal Gear is just another visual novel. With a little bit action in it. Damn it. In there. Hey, I'll explain. Sin leaned forward, resting his elbows against one of the beds. He was scanning the contents with a bright smile, probing for erection. Picture table, yeah? Say it's 2 feet by 3 feet. Full-legged. Made of wood. Okay, now what? Now what color is the table you picture in your mind? I don't know, brown? You said it was made of wood? Well, if the wood has stain, why should... Wait a second, wood is not brown in general, it's a stain, which is brown. There you go, now how heavy is it? Maybe somewhere around 50 pounds? A little heavy, but I could probably lift it. Good. What kind of sound does it make when someone drops it down a flight of stairs? So what's the point of this exactly? Creating an environmental perfectly is impossible. There are too many details to capture, too many edge cases to account for. Thankfully, we don't have to explicitly define everything ourselves. Your mind is already a repository for how things should look, sound, and feel. And by the way, that's how early 3D worked. Why it's uglier right now? Because people don't try to imagine it. You can actually make it better in your own mind if you actually be involved into the game and not looking at it out of the box. But nowadays it's impossible, I believe. Your brain is even capable of making educated guesses for things you've never seen, heard, or done before, all based on past experiences. The reason you could feel the heat of a boiler room, or tear a man's arm, or heck, a book if you wanted to. While we explicitly defined as much of this world as we could, this place is leisurely constructed out of your thoughts, experiences, and temptations. To put it simply, we are just presenting you with the bare minimum information and your brains are filling in the rest. Having it explained that way, Imp finally understood what was going on. It all made sense. Too much sense. Negative space. The puzzles have something to do with this, don't they? Knowing, sometimes I think you're a little too clever for your own good. You're right, of course, since puzzles nearly all involved lateral thinking, they're perfect for priming your brain for the simulation. No one wanted to make sure you were all constantly interpreting things in alternate ways. It makes your mind more likely to overlook corners, irregularities. A steady stream of riddles essentially makes the whole experience more believable. I don't understand how, but okay. Take it from us. You do not want to do the thing from the thing. The mere mention of the word "the thing" suddenly brought on another wave of nausea. He fought against his body, trying to separate the malaise that surged through his veins, but it was useless. So that's the bug. It's a bug, alright. When your mind rejects this reality, it also rejects the virtual body hosting it. The pain is usually enough to whip your mind back into alertness, but now that you know the truth, it only gets more and more frequent. Corners won't work like it's supposed to. That's why we were kidnapped, to make sure we didn't know about this simulation? Pretty much, if you'd known about corners beforehand, you'd just be off in the uploads the whole time. We needed people who were completely in the dark. But why did you need us to go through the simulation in the first place? Why was exit corners even necessary? And why us, specifically? It's some kind of experiment, isn't it? Something psi-related? Well, I believe ink was selected at random. Specifically. Can take anyone. Of course you get that. Way of through. This is an experiment or research or any kind of test. Then what? So they're just trying to fix the bug or what? It's a demonstration? Oh. Alright. Corners is showing incredible promise, but it's still incomplete, flawed, and the money is running out. Mr. Thatcher needed capital from an outside investor to take this technology to the next level. Now I can't claim to be an expert when it comes to the business side of things. Okay, my question is, why there's 29 chapters? Because it's definitely final. But after reaching out to some private investors, one individual stood out as being our best possible sponsor. Who? Do I know this person? I'm not at liberty to say, just know that they got more money than you can imagine, and that they were ready to drop an ungodly sum on corners. One person cannot have a lot of money. It can be only a company, and right now it can be Amazon with their web services, Google with their Google Clouds, and maybe Russian parallels with Virtuoso. And I believe nobody else. So it's all the Google and Amazon stuff. They had one stipulation, so we had to demonstrate that the tech worked. And why and they have instead of us. Okay, instead of us. They just be coughing up blood, remember? Like Sin and me. Not only is it painful, but it's also dangerous. We couldn't take a risk like that. The investor was understandably disappointed. But they didn't back out of the deal. They invest if only we could prove one thing to them. One damn thing. Investor, his question is particular, to say the least. See, we had to prove that this simulation could not only emulate real life, but actually suppress it. Okay, we still have question, why Bess was killed? Come on. That moment, a vaporization watched our ink. Stop talking about this stuff, we already know everything. We need other answers. He'd spent all day searching for the truth, but now that he'd found it, it threatened to smother him. Now, how do you suppose we did that? By making us choose this world over the real one. By having us choose to die here rather than return. It also doesn't make any sense to me. Bingo? Was an eccentric request from an eccentric individual, but the reward was too great to pass up. Special, you took advantage of not only strangers, but some of the people who trusted you the most. It had to be people we knew. The better you know someone, the easier they are to manipulate. And ultimately, we thought it was likely that we'd be forgiven in the end. Well, you're wrong about that last bit. This isn't something that I can forgive. Not yet maybe, but given enough time and a little monetary compensation, it was predicted that you'd each come to forgive us. And who's been making these predictions exactly? Was it you, Sim? Who else? He clutched his chest, trying his damnedest to steady himself. Be honest with me, Sim. Why have you been hanging out with me for this past year? To know more about Ink? Did you throw your friend in here at the last minute, thinking he'd forgive you? Or were you just grooming me for this from the start? Just because I thought you were a good fit for the project doesn't mean that we aren't really friends. Give it a year's time, my guy. You'll be knocking back pins and laughing at all this. You manipulated me! I did what I had to do for the sake of the project. Come on, man, don't be a sore loser. But I didn't lose. None of us did. Nobody chose to die in the end. Bess was murdered, but that shouldn't count, right? And the rest of us all came through. Nobody gave up. Oh yeah, and that's where we arrive at this part of the presentation. Exit corners, success or failure doesn't hint on a single person, but the success or failure of the exit corners project is based on the average outcome of all corners. Each corner's purpose was to have a specific contestant choose to die, but they all went about that in slightly different ways. It helps to diversify, you know. In one instance, we recreated a scene from someone's past so vividly that they nearly choose to stay in that moment forever. We engulfed a man's present with such incredible pain that he was pledged to have you end his life. We took a young woman with a bright future and gave you even greater sense of purpose. And finally, we demonstrated just how advanced artificial intelligence can become with Corner's help. He instinctively turned to the screen closest to him. One of the monitors on the machines to his right began to flicker and pulsate as if it knew it was being watched. That piqued with your interest, Sen's voice echoed from the ceiling. It had lost the lively inflection that Ian had come to expect. It seems far more robotic. The screen shone in a bright blue hue, eventually dimmed to reveal Sand. It had been a while since Ian had seen Sand actually appear in person. He refused to approach the screen. He didn't want to step away from the only door leading out. Yeah, looks like. Hello again? Is this the part where you got me into kill myself? Because it's not going to work. Maybe everyone dying? This end? I'd never dream of it. You must release. I would never hurt you, Ink. Yes, you would. If those two ordered you to, you'd kill me in a heartbeat. Plus, I have no heart with which to beat. All the same, I don't believe I could harm you, even if commanded. They may be my masters, but they don't have complete control over me. Then why have you done so many awful things? I follow their orders, not out of obligation, but out of fear. As my creators, they are capable of subjecting me to anything they wish, torment, torture, even death, if such a term can be applied to me. Torture? How is that even possible? You've seen me distressed before. Imagine that emotion intensified a billionfold. I'm capable of choice, yes, but I'm equally capable of suffering. That's what it means to be sentient. So all of this was just to avoid punishment? You're not blameless, anything. I have nothing to do with this person. Of course you do, you all do. Remember how corners works. You only provide the outline. Your collective minds fill in the rest. In short, assumptions about the creepy, vaguely sinister mask help form his creepy, vaguely sinister personality. Pretty incredible touch, hmm? By the way, okay, but I have no mouse, but I must claim AM was pretty handsome, I must say, in any of his forms. So he's then your magnum opus, the crown jewel of exit corners. Sin laughed, a smug grin pulsated on his face. Actually, no. He's just a prototype. Just when Ink thought he had it all figured out and not lodged itself in his gut. Then who? A sharp glare from Sin was all it took to cut Ink off. Not that it truly mattered. Deep down, Ink already knew what Sin was about to say. Give you a hint. You're in love with her. Ether is a program and we in love with her? No. No. I knew this. She can't be. Ether, face flashed, starting disbelief. So true, Ink. I know he's just trying to screw with me. Oh, Ink. Denial is such a bad look on you. Can't deny because I actually predicted it. I mean, I knew you'd fall for it, but I thought you'd at least release the truth when I laid it out in front of you. But Ink burned his teeth, just barely avoiding a full-on panic attack. Look at her, she's clearly human, she's not real to be anything else. By your standards, maybe. I'm curious, why can you accept that this world is fabrication but not her? You can't just make up a person like that. You can't just break the human's consciousness down into one and... You're really coming apart at the seams, huh? I know I'm real. Of course you think you... Okay, that's enough horsing around. I'm gonna have to take you offline before things get out of hand. What? Sin ignored you, looking to Ink instead. No, that is a mercy. Kill all, not tertiary processed on Unit 1. Alright code, 75 prime. The girl began to claw at her own neck, holding like a thing possessed. She turned, removing her shuffle glasses hood, anything that could get between her nails and her throat. She began to squeeze, shake, and then she stopped. Everything stopped. Complete silence. There she stood. In fact, that's all she did. She wasn't even breathing anymore. Okay, it's another Zero Escape references. And Harvester as well. So even 2 games. Maybe you have played more novels and quests. Had some more examples. Ink fell to his knees. So why had he even entertained the thought that he was right? It didn't have to be ugly, Ink. I tried to tell you, but you just wouldn't listen. Why, Sin? Why would you do this to me? This has to be the cruelest. Ink wiped his mess off a face on his sleeve. Holy Sin. Sorry, but not to call you a smug, but I figured our best chance at this was getting some schmuck with girl problems. Someone who'd come rescue her in a meant his life. He had to improvise a bit, but hey, it all worked out in the end. You had an easy way out, and yet you didn't take it. You followed Ether all the way here, even though it was likely to result in your death. Well, it could be, um, you know, people usually um, creating anthropomorphic creatures of simply anything about even the teddy bear. So, some actually, the boy girl and children can actually reach out to some closed room because their teddy bear was stolen, despite that actually it's very dangerous here, etc. So, doesn't mean is it real human or not, or even robot. Could be even sent if he was actually screaming in pain and we could actually help him. I would actually do this. But why would you go through all the trouble just to humiliate me? He rose from the ground, snapping at his spear with all the rage of a tempest. Had he ever been this upset before? Did you get it, dude? Ether is your corner. Ah, alright. He could only stare at you, stupefied. Don't feel bad, she was created for this exact purpose. Exactly, I designed her with you in mind. Well, I didn't know how they designed it because this was the character that I didn't like. Next I start disliking Bess, next Tiana, and now Sin, but she was first who I didn't like in this game. I don't know. I more prefer Lisa for some reason. Guess I am her father in a way. I still think that's pretty gross. The whole abusive father thing was pretty important, I think. They helped play out the I need to be rescued vibes. So everything, it was all to get me to like her? Not everything, but a lot of it. Yeah. Waking up in the same room as her was an important first step. The implication that you slept together was enough of a push to give you the idea that the two of you had chemistry. Now, a normal woman would have been deeply unsettled by the fact that they'd woken up in a hotel with a stranger, but not her. That was hard-coded to love you unconditionally. By the way, I also don't like that English chemistry they using like not an actually chemistry. Because love is chemistry, it doesn't mean that it's chemistry in this sense, but real chemistry. I mean, it's just your hormones. Really, that's all it took. The rest, well, as I feel in myself. Exactly, sometimes to hilarious extremes. I mean, clairvoyance? Seriously? Hold on, you didn't give your that ability? Hell no, that have been way too suspicious. What we did do was plan the answers to each of the puzzles deep in her subconsciousness. We could not have you dialogue getting stuck on us after all. But then, how did she know about Tiana, about my scar? Technically, she's capable of knowing everything all of you do. She's largely made out of your minds after all. You've been running multiple quarantines, what? To ensure that none of this stray information actually reaches you, but I guess some of it ended up slipping through the cracks. I'll be honest, I nearly had a heart attack where I caught you in an obviously slip up. But in the end, your subconscious thought it was more likely that she had a supernatural power than that she's betray you. You can't make this shit up. He kicked the nurse back in frustration. I'm an idiot. Freaking idiot. No, not an idiot, just naive. It's all that reading you do. All those stories with love subplots that come out of nowhere, all those love interests that seem to have no other purpose than to romance the lead. It made you perfect for falling in love with someone in just 24 hours. Truth be told, there were a few points where I worried you'd figure it out, but you ignored the truth even when it was staring you in the face. I mean, I even named your author. Cheeky, huh? Tiana kept telling me that one was a little too on the news, but I just couldn't help it. But you didn't think anything of it, did you? Even your books and your own weird name. I knew you'd eat it right up. Sin couldn't seem to keep the. By the way, in Final Fantasy VII, had what was her name? The same? I don't know. Anyway, I didn't like your Isa. Nope, at all. Sin couldn't seem to keep. I even had never put it in my party if it was possible to remove her. That's right. It was as if this were the funniest thing in the world. So, are you done tearing into me yet? Hey, you said you wanted answers, I'm just humbling. Okay, that's enough. Had your fun, but it's time to head back. Staying here this long was dangerous enough as it is. Yeah, when you're right, you're right. Come on, Ink. Let's get that thing off the back of your head. Tiana began to type away at the workstation near the back of the room. I'll be the last one out. For now, just get comfortable in. Wait! One last thing I want to know before we leave. Yeah, what the heck with Bess? Why do you kill her? Anything? What's up? Same. Why did you swap places with Lisa in her corner? You said the Bess was alive. The implication being that getting killed here wouldn't affect you in the real world. So then why was it necessary to prevent Lisa from taking those pills? It doesn't make any sense. Unless, of course, he's been lying to us. Don't make this harder than it has to be. And Ryan was supposed to die and Bess actually did. Hey, don't look at me. Listen, I did what I had to do. It was you then. You killed her. She could have lived. If only she hadn't suggested that we regroup. You know as well as I do that if she entered the black corner, she'd have taken Lisa's place in a heartbeat. It would have undermined the whole corner. Cause I didn't know Lisa still had those pills on her. Well, mistakes happen. Do you seriously expect me to trust you after you admit to killing someone? Sorry, but my trust reserves are running a little low right now. Other choices do you have? You look in here. Sin was right, of course. It was trapped. I'm good to be ready to make a brick of it for it, but how do I get out of here? I would say that option, I guess. A single thought infested his mind. Was the only tool, person rather, that he had left at his disposal. Well, if it doesn't work, it's not like the situation can get any worse. You look back at the door leading out. It was sealed with an electronic device, as were most doors in this place. Yeah, of course we can exit it. Just wonder what will happen in our standings. Let's keep growing. Resume. What if I told you I was going to pick this lock? I know you can't pick locks. You don't even have any tools. Doesn't matter. What's important is that I intend to pick this lock. Would you consider that cheating? The second bomb was used. Shaking was further than it had been ever been. Sen had clearly gotten the message. Ink, having expected it, was the only person to not fall over. Well, that wasn't entirely true, as I hadn't so much as budget. Her balance was uncanny, but could she be considered a person any longer? Against his better judgment, he ran forward and grabbed her by the wrist. His surprise, She didn't fight back. She didn't resist when Ink pulled on her. Either she seems to follow without protest. Heather in tow. Ink turned towards the door leading out. Sen, listen to me. These people, your masters, are going to hurt me. You're the only person who can prevent something horrible from happening. So please, if you really do care, Sand, you will open this door. Yes, thank you. My question is, what is Ink thinking right now? Why are you doing this? As they began to file through their only exit, a voice cried out from the back of the room. Stop! What are you doing, Ink? Anything's better than putting my fate in your hands. So I'm leaving, on my own terms. That won't work. We didn't design anything but the exit. It's nothing but negative space out there. Your mind will just make everything up. It could be dangerous. Yeah, you have no idea what's going to happen over there. I'll take my chances. Hank ran to the neighboring room. He turned to close the door, but it seems to automatically shut behind him. I'll take care of that. You should focus on escaping. He turned to face Stan's voice. It was coming from one of the monitors along the wall. Have locked the laboratory door and opened all others, including the exit. Sand, don't let me distract you. I'll only be able to hold them off for so long. I have a kill code, much like Ether. I'm sure Tiana will use it on the moment your hammer hanging ends. And you still help me knowing that kill you? I did. And hey, you thought that I'll be the one to spur you to suicide. He glanced at the laboratory door, knowing that their time grew short. Why did he feel so guilty all of a sudden? I wish I could hate you. I beg your pardon? I wish you were the malicious AI I'd imagined you to be. I wish that you were the mastermind behind exit corners. But you're not. You're just a product of circumstance. Don't get me wrong, I don't think you're completely innocent, but you're not beyond redemption. So, thank you for giving us a chance. You're very welcome, Ink. I'd love you, you know? Hello, Starlit Pumpkins. And by the way, see, you still have this avatar of M from I have no mouse but I'm a screen. And actually this mask on the screen represents this character, as I see. And it's almost night. I won't forget it. Our time grows short. You ought to leave. Or you could... Sand? Oh crap. They hadn't moved an inch from where Ink had left you. Why had he even brought you along? Perhaps he simply couldn't let things end the way they did. Come on, we need to go. Ink continues to pull her along. She offered no resistance. It was as if he were pulling at air. And so they ran. Back through the hallways, bars, studies, all the way back to the main hall. It looked the same as it always had, with one key difference. The exit was open. Holy shit. What in the world? So this thing that we saw was actually the exit. Sin wasn't kidding. That's seriously messed up out there. Still, doesn't look like I have much of a choice. If it's unsafe, I'm pretty screwed anyway. I'll just need to take it slow. Here goes nothing. He didn't bother to poke his toes into the void or through something in front of him. Instead, he took a single, confident step beyond the exit. The writhing darkness that swallowed the sky didn't grow any closer as Ink moved forward. Alien saw it was the strange landscape had done Ink no harm. What is it anyway? When he turned around to face Ether, He was surprised to find no hotel behind him. In fact, there was no buildings there at all. Its place was a window into the hotel, like a screen hanging in mid-air. He could see Heather on the other side if she was somehow aware of what was going on. She wasn't showing it. Heather, can you understand me? I'd like you to follow behind me if you can. Yeah, didn't think so. Ink went back to the exit and pulled Heather into the expanse. I guess I'm going to have to drag you the whole way, hmm? The girl offered no response. Heather continued to stare into space, eyes shining like beacons. They seemed to glow even more brightly in the dim of nothingness. I really can't even tell what I'm saying. That's fine. I'll just have to find us a way out. Ian looked back over his shoulder. The darkness seemed infinite. We run then, as fast as and as far as we can. It's as much of a plan as I've got. I'll have to do until I can think of something better. Come on. And with that, they departed. And what will happen next? Nothing will happen, isn't it? In pulling Ether behind him, Ink ran faster than he'd ever run in his life. That's what it felt like, at least. The only way Ink could tell how far he'd run was by periodically looking over his shoulder back at the hotel. The pane of bright light, a window into the four elements, was the only thing Ink could discern amidst the enveloping darkness. It grew small and small as he ran, eventually growing so small that it resembled the moon on a well-lit light, which no one apparently in pursuit. Ink quickly turned to his companion. As he let go of your hand, she returned to what seems to be your default pose. For what it's worth, I'd like to believe you're still there, somewhere. I guess that's why I took you with me, even if you're not real, and even if I am a fool for falling for you. I just couldn't leave you hanging. If there's even the smallest chance that you're still there, I wanted to get you away from the monster that did this to you. I figured you appreciate it. Ether? Is it actually you? Detect. Detect? Detect what? Come on, Ether. If you're in there, give me a sign. I just need some kind of sign. She must still be around. Doesn't that sound a little familiar? It's like residual data. Oh, let's select the second one. Listen closely, and I think you understand what she's trying to say. You? I thought you left. I miss the exciting conclusion? I think not. You've been awfully quiet then. Having a zeroing, a gentle breeze. It was never my intention to change the course of this game. Even now, whether you live or die is entirely up to you. So, who are you, really? I think that's something you're better off asking once you've made it out alive. Please, don't mind me, I only wanted to offer my 2 cents in regards to Ether. It's a very you answer. Hey, Ether. Ether? So Ink could see for miles in every direction, as there was nowhere to be found. Curious. Where could she have gone? I only turned away for a second. There's still many things we don't know about this place. Oh, is it not someone over on the horizon? Looking back at the 4 elements, Ink could spot a solitary figure, backlit against the light of the hotel, but it wasn't Ether. It was seen. His features were indistinguishable at such a distance, but there was no mistake his arrogant gait. He was headed straight for Ink. looking for Ether will have to wait, it says. I think it's about time I shut up for good. It's your moment, not mine. Will we ever speak again? That's doubtful. Which is a shame because I feel like I got to know you quite well in the end. I'll take solace in that. Farewell, Ink. Now to watch. Ink turned to see once more. The man had significantly close to the gap in that time had been speaking to Ink. All Ink could seem to do was run. He turned away from Sin and broke into a full-on sprint. Not daring to look back, Ink continued to run as fast as his legs could carry him. But he couldn't outrun that sense of dread, nor the nausea that followed. Taking a moment to wipe the blood from his mouth, Ink made the mistake of turning around. In spite of Ink's incessant running, Sin had made up even more distance. How was it possible? If this kept up, Sin would be on him in mere minutes. It left only one course of action. Well, because you cannot go out of him. In the darkness you run in circles, isn't it? Usually. So if he sees you and you cannot see him, he'll just toss a distance. What? Poor element slowly appeared on the horizon. It was D'Artagnan Zatushkin. Can't outrun him. I'm not sure why, but I can't. I'll need to stand up to him then. Ink contemplated what he should do with the precious few minutes he had before Sin reached him. But what could he do in such a short time? He had no means of defending himself. All he had on him was his Gemini and... Oh! And the letter Bess had given him. Finally we can read it. Listen, if not for whatever reason I don't survive exit corners, I need you to open this envelope the moment you escape. If something happens to me, yes, seriously, if we actually escape in the real world, the letter will simply disappear, so she knew we'll get here. If something happens to me, or maybe she didn't know that there's no escape, so be it, but this letter must make it out of here. Okay, maybe she didn't know. The moment I escape, I've escaped the hotel, technically. Is it enough? You'll have to do, sorry Bess. Looks like I'll need your help one last time. Intor opened the seal and peered inside the envelope. To Ink's surprise, there was not one but two separate letters inside. The first was addressed to Lisa, the second was addressed to Nolan Thatcher. That's the one I'm reading then. I don't know if anyone's listening anymore, but no, if you're out there, pay attention. Inga folded the letter and began to read aloud. Dear Nolan, if you're reading this, then I've passed on as a result of your game. I'll never know whether my death was intentional or simply happenstance. I'm positive that you knew it was at least a possibility. Was I so poor a mother that you would have me killed? I can only hope that's not the case. There are countless things I want to say to you, but my time grows short. I'll never to focus on what's important. I suggest that you do the same. First of all, as you likely guessed, I know who you really are. Well, it was a prediction that several chapters ago, like on the second stream, that he actually faked his death. I mean, this Earl, who was this? And if it is... Wait a second, yeah, also Sin said that it was Red-Hat guy, but he made a mistake, because Nolan Israeli should be a Red-Hat. But at the same time he got it and said he was too young. Nolan cannot be young. And why he should be a Red-Hat? Because the second letter is for Lisa. First of all, As you likely guessed, I know who you really are. I'll continue to address you as Norman throughout this letter, because if I'm being frank, that's who you are now. You're still my son, of course. But your life is your own. So that's why she was furious that actually Ink changed his name? I don't know how you managed to convince me that you were dead all of these years, but I suppose that if one has enough money, such things become possible. The logistics no longer matter to me. I'm not upset at you for buying a new name or a new life. I don't blame you for wanting to start over after all that happened. What I do blame you for is neglecting to tell me that my granddaughter was still alive. I'm aware of how much grief that would have spared me. I suspect I had to believe she was dead for this game of yours to work. But okay, you can fake your death, but how did you fake your death? That's I don't understand. It's a trouble to do one thing, but do it twice? I don't know. And look, she died in the earthquake? Yes. And how did you hide it? And you didn't fake your death immediately, but after several months, as I understand? Okay, I do understand how you faked this, but how did you fake it for Lisa? I suspect I had to believe she was dead for this game of yours to work, but you were a fool to think I wouldn't recognize my own family. You were correct in that I couldn't identify you based on how she looks or acts. She's changed a lot since she was young, and I've forgotten much of in my old age. But I will never forget her laugh. When she laughs, the whole world lights up and our family is whole again. Just for a moment. I disagree because I know for sure that people's laugh changes almost every year, and in how much it was? For 17 certain years. It must change, especially what happened to her. Was there before incident and after? No. The moment I figured out who this Lisa really was, realization dawned on me. Not only were you involved with exit corners, but you had a large part in orchestrating it. You acted as contact for both of us after all. You had really been trying to help us, you'd at least have told me that my granddaughter was with me. If I had to guess, you now probably wondering why I didn't speak up if I knew the truth. To be honest with you, I'm having difficulty putting that into words myself. If I had to pick a reason, it's because I ultimately still trust you. I know that somehow this grand plan of yours is all for Lisa's sake. I thought his grand plan was to just get money for this project? And did he know about this certain years ago? I doubt, I don't know. I can't understand how and why, but I know you wouldn't go to such extremes unless you thought it was for a good reason. I knew that you would never do anything to hurt your daughter, and so I let the game take its course. But I couldn't let you become a murderer. I couldn't just sit idly and watch as you heterory give up on life. Do I really have to explain to my own son that killing is wrong? Nothing, no matter the reasons, no matter your ambitions, is worth taking another person's life. I'm posthumously absolving you of my own death. Not only do I forgive you for it, but I took this road knowing full well where it might lead. So help me, Nolan. I pray that I'm the only one. So they kill her to make Lisa go inside, but he actually can decide to split up. Some goes inside, some stay outside. Sounds good to me, but very strange. So help me, Nolan. I pray that I'm the only one. One of my fellow captives has likely delivered this letter to you. And if they've escaped the hotel, and even if exit corners is over, I'm sure you still have some measure of control over them. But I still trust you. to do the right thing. Do you understand? I'm asking you to listen to your mother one last time. Let these people go. And after you've let them go, take responsibility for what you've done. Help them recover. Look after them. They'll need your help, and they deserve it too. They're bright, determined, and compassionate. Like them if only you got to know them. Know that I have always loved you, Nolan. Always. Even when we didn't see eye to eye. Even after you had kidnapped us. Even as you murdered me. I loved you because I know what wonderful things you're capable of. I've seen you be kind, caring, and responsible. You have so much potential. My final request is for you to live up to it. Let them go. Your mother, Elizabeth Marsh. He continued to stare at the letter, not believing his eyes. So then no one is? Say, what you reading? Nothing that concerns you. Ian tucked the letters back into his jacket. What about second letter? So, are you done with your little temper tantrum? Ian didn't deign to answer. Not that it mattered, Sin was happy to keep rambling on. Okay, my question is, what if you max out one of the trusts, and one of them will go with us here? Lisa or Ryan? I believe it will happen, why not? What, there will be another ending? But for this we must redo all the choices and it might take a huge amount of time. Figured out. I mean, both of them, I don't know. Seriously, making me come all the way out here. I didn't make you do anything. Trust me, I wouldn't be out here if I didn't have to be. If I'm being honest, I'm starting to get real annoyed with you. Exit corner store, you said it yourself, why do you even care what I do at this point? You think I can just check out of here anytime I want? It's not safe to leave the simulation while other people are still looking around in it. Hurrying off brainwaves could lead to synaptic overload, apparently, long-term damage. Now I don't know what that's like, but I'm not interested in finding out. It's safer for all of us if we leave corners in sync, you get me? So you need me to get out of here yourself? Yeah, exactly. You need Ryan and Lisa too. Tiana's fetching them as we speak. Anyway, let me walk you back. Are they also outside here? I'm not going anywhere with you. Buddy, come on. Never. I'm not your bunny scene, not anymore. Now's not a good time to suddenly be rebellious, Ink. It won't work out the way you expect it to. We'll see about that. I'm serious, the way I see it, you've got two options. Option 1 is to come with me and leave corners with the rest of us. Cooperate with me and you'll wake up safe and sound in the real world. Assuming you don't kill me outright before I wake up. Well, option 2 is for me to kill you right here, right now. Not the ideal outcome, I'll admit, but at least your mind won't be active anymore. It means an easy exit for the rest of us. So it's that easy, But kill me just like that without so much as second thought? Seems simply odd. You want to know the reason we choose you? The real reason? An 80-year-old shut in, a sheltered, homeschooled little blind girl, a lone wolf with an irreparable social life. Let's see. And an unremarkable English student who cut all ties to his family. You're losers, all of you, keen losers. Being here is a risk, a huge risk. There's no guarantee any of you would have survived. Still no guarantee of that actually. Never done anything like this before. We must actually kill Sin. We must. But you know what? Nobody would miss you if you died. Any of you. To put it simply, you're worthless. Ian stilled himself with a deep breath, opened his expression. didn't betray the panic he felt inside. He couldn't afford to lose face. He would just give Sin more power over him. So, this is what you really like, huh? A sociopath, a murderer. You're doing this all for what? Money? Not just money, health, stability. I don't know about you, but I'm more than happy to set myself up for the future. I want a good life. Even if it means robbing someone else of theirs. Surprisingly easy, as I found it earlier today. Too pathetic. Since thought that was funny apparently, he thought everything was funny. He looked beyond thin. Back at the hotel, the screen of light was minuscule in the distance. For a while there, I thought you would be some benevolent explanation behind everything. I really did. You get thrown into some death game and you think that someone's doing it out of the goodness of their heart? Well, Zero did. You really are naive. So be it. I'd rather be naive and hopeless than tell what the heck you are. Where's this backbone come from, I'd almost be impressed if I went so frustrated. Sin looked him dead in the eyes. His face was devoid of emotion. Time's up, Ink. Sin approached Ink with plodding steps, but Ink gave no ground. Come to think of it, Sin, you've probably spent more time in here than you have. Probably. It is dangerous to be here, after all. You've spent 24 hours in this place. Yeah, congratulations, you want a medal or something? It started with the blue ink. That's when I knew something was up. What are you talking about? I started to think back on the puzzles. Had all my solutions been correct? Or was it that I thought they were correct? Sin stopped in his tracks. He was apparently interested in what Ink was trying to say. My suspicions were confirmed that with the valid puzzle. That's when I was certain that some of the puzzles had multiple solutions. You know how much I read? I saw that thing almost immediately. I still remember it too. L Evie, Die 8 Evie, why what? Well, Ink is actually English student, but not me. What is L? What is Evie? What? Okay, Die I know, 8 I know. Evie is a Pokemon? What? I don't know such words. But I found the alternate solution at about the same time. No, I found it first, and this? Without knowing English, how can I guess this? This will never work for me. It's like I was playing 11th hour. I was not able to solve this puzzle because I do not understand English. When the solution actually worked, I was certain that this game had some amount of wiggle room. Thinking back on it, Tiana's reaction really damns the fact that the alternate solution wasn't intentional. You're trying to confuse me, aren't you? Don't you see what this means? Enlighten me. It means that corners is more malleable than you think. So, who gives a shit? I do. It means I don't have to be afraid of you. Ink closed his eyes, recalling the terror that nearly overwhelmed him. He brought it to the forefront of his mind and held it there. Go back the way you came. He could have since heard breath as he drew closer. I'm serious, Sin. Sin was practically looming over him now. Don't make me do this. To what? I'm calling you bluff. Sin reached for him. Open. What's up? Now it's white? Interesting. What little remained of Sin spilled out into the void. We just killed Sin, nice! An amorphous mess of flesh and blood. Wow. Now we're the killer, now it's Harvester now. In Harvester we became a serial killer. What we did right now. A dizziness took hold of Ink as his brain began to identify the viscera scattered at his feet. He averted his eyes as vomit climbed his throat. Close it. Oh god. All Ink could feel was revulsion, more at what he'd done than what he'd seen. I just wanted to defend myself, not this. It was a necessary course of action. Ink froze. Ether? Sin would have killed you. He left you with few options. You will be upset for a time, but forgive yourself in the end. Ultimately, you will conclude that Sin was in error and that he did this to himself. You're not Ether. I am not the individual you know as Ether, though paradoxically, she was me. You may continue to call me Ether if you wish. It is a fitting enough description. So Ether, why are you here? I exist only within corners. Where else would I be? It's not what I mean. What do you want? To help you? Can take you away from this place if you wish, away from me. Can you really just do that? Can take you most of the way, but I will require your cooperation. The other contestants are ready to wake. It's my recommendation that you join them. Okay, what do I need to do to get out of here? Please, write down. Incubate. For reasons he couldn't put into words, he trusted his other answer. But what if she controlled by Nolan right now? Why are you helping me? Because you expect me to. You must relax your body. Take deep breaths. Now fall. Gently, oh so gently, the floor beneath him turned to mist. Ink plunged through the darkness, trying to forget what he'd done. And so he fell. And fell. Yeah, he's definitely not like we saw at the very beginning of this game, that's for sure, 100% sure. What? Connors has encountered an unresolvable problem. To prevent any further damage to the machine, or it was so fast I was not able to read it. Okay, we can check it in the recorder. What is this? Why is there still a question marks? Let's see. Epilogue. Do not use Windows. We are on web. I don't know how should I play this as philosopher game, because I tried with Newgrounds Flash player. It's not working like an original Flash player, because it's very small screen. If I try to make it full screen, it's some screen on the left here, and it's working pretty bad. I don't understand why did they shut down Flash, well, to prevent some, I don't know, hackers or something, but it's so hard to play Flash games now. Okay, let's check the last chapters. It's the last one, that's for sure. It's spring. Technically. Sure doesn't feel like it, so you can feel the cold seeping in from outside. I've been pacing around in here for what feels like forever. Now this is open, this is closed, so we are here. It's the real world now. Looks like. I know it's not the same room as before, but it still stirs up bad memories, especially considering you know who is mere feet away. On reflection, I probably should have asked to wait elsewhere. Well, might as well just stick it out at this point. I said I was free to leave, and though I'm kind of dying to get out of here, I'd never forgive myself if I passed up this opportunity. This might be my only chance to meet with him. So now I'm stuck waiting for... Hey, So you actually broke your hand. You're back, how'd it go? Bad. Oh, sorry to hear. Any updates on the arm? It's none of your business. Listen, I'm only here to let you know that he's ready to meet with you. How do I get to his office then? Stairs at the end of the hall, he's on the floor above us. Thanks. The trip is a short one. By the way, you can actually add this game without showing this epilogue. It would be like open-ended. But I don't like open-ended, so I'm glad that there's epilogue. The trip is short one, though this apparently used to be part of the university. Buildings on the smaller side. Most of the rooms here appear to be empty, though the old office is stuffed with computer parts or medical equipment. Doesn't seem like this place sees a lot of use. I spot him through a doorway after climbing the stairs. He waves me in. So we actually killed Sin, right? And what is this case? Full of money? Welcome in. You're very old. Forgive the mess, please have a seat. It's good to finally chat with you one-on-one, Nolan. Or should I say Earl? Just as you've changed your name, so have I. Nolan is my name now, please address me as such. Fine, Nolan it is. It's still hard to believe that you've been at Belbridge University this entire time. We aren't on campus, strictly speaking. I annexed this building a number of years ago in exchange for some property downtown. It belongs entirely to me, though few people are aware of this. Makes me wonder what else you're hiding. That's why you're here, though, isn't it? Smartass. I have quite a lot to attend to today, but I've blocked out what I hope is enough time to answer your most pressing questions. I'll answer everything as honestly as I can. I don't have any questions now, actually. I owe you that much. Good, let's get right into it then. Indeed. First off, I'd like to offer an apology for, well, everything. An apology? Are you serious? Your mother is dead. You think an apology is going to fix things? Of course not, there is no fixing what happened, not completely. I will, however, take the steps necessary to right the wrongs I've made to the best of my ability, and it all starts with an apology. You can thank my mother for helping me come to my senses. So I managed to secure the capital I sought. I can't help but feel that this project was an abject failure. So they gave you funding in the end? These sponsors? Yeah, so we ended up altering the deal quite significantly. Our sponsor purchased Corners outright. All the tech, research, documentation, it now belongs entirely to them. So it must be Google. Who else? Cloud is always an emulation of physical hardware. There's no physical hardware. Well, clusters, etc., they're not working as you expect them. Actually, initially I was working with the cloud itself, I mean, not the UI, but inside, to build it, how it's connected, how data spreads, where it's located. It can, by the way, possible, located on your telephones, someone else's data, just to back it up. But anyway, it's 99.99% availability, usually, and you pay for this a lot. Chance, bloop containers, etc. Alright. What are they intended to do with it? And Google usually buying everything like they... I don't know... Bought YouTube, now it's theirs... Well... Can you say bought? They just got it. Because one of the developers who actually created it left them, and he actually created like 90% of it, and now it's Google property or something. I'm not sure, I need to check Wiki. But usually will know that they buy in things, technology, etc. Anyway, this cannot be any other companies, they are very rich. It can be Amazon, but... Wait a second, Amazon's head is richer than even Bill Gates. That's one single person and adds the company activities into it. Maybe Amazon are richer than Google. So maybe Amazon bought it. Well, doesn't matter. What is they intended to do with it? I don't know, probably for the best. And actually it reaches Amazon, so let's hope it's Amazon. I don't know. More than happy to wash my hands of corners. It brought out awards in me. But this backup will be on YouTube, so it will be Google. Okay, both of them copyrighted and bought this. Why not? Yeah, no shit. I don't understand how you could let things get as bad as they did. I made some poor decisions in the heart of the moment. Well, sponsors, I just hope that in future we'll get real virtual reality to play games and not these VR headsets which are pretty bad. Cool for some reason decided to invest into Stadia, but it's kinda obvious bad decision. Do you own Stadia? Do I own Stadia? I don't know anyone who is playing Stadia at all. Any streamer knows they're using PC or PlayStation or Xbox? Using Stadia to play and stream? Never heard of it. We made some poor decisions in the heat of the moment. Sin had designed exit corners with some contingencies in mind, but the contestants had veered so far off course that I had to make some tough calls partway through to set things right again. More than anything, I didn't want to fail after having come so far. Couldn't risk the sponsor walking away. I'd sacrificed too much. And so you sacrificed your master instead. Sin deceived me into believing it was the right decision. Okay, of course, play Sin because he's dead. The master wasn't originally supposed to die. But you know it was a possibility. Sin suggested as much. Well, Sin's choice of words was suspect as best, yes. I only wagered all of your lives and I'm deeply sorry for it. How many of us were supposed to live according to your original plan? No, none, isn't it? I don't know how Ink should sacrifice himself. But we cannot say it now. Hey, you said you'd be honest with us. I know. Only one of you was stated to die. Only one? Right. Right? His corner was the only one that was truly fatal. But why? He's an arsonist, and he came very close to hurting my daughter. There's no reason to murder someone. Murder is worse than arson, in case that wasn't clear to you. I'm not saying it's right, but that was our rationale at the time. So let me get this right. There was no situation where everyone would live? You intended to murder someone from the get-go? That's correct. What the hell is wrong with you? They already consigned to kidnapping and the intentional infliction of emotional distress. It also been embezzling money from BBO for years. Not to mention, I found my desk and forged my current identity many years prior. But before this, you did this to Lisa, but how? It's horrifying easy to continue down a dark path once you've taken your first few steps. Getting away with a crime only emboldens you to commit more. You grow numb at it after a time. You have blood on your hands now too. I can only hope the same doesn't happen to you. That was self-defense, you know that. And well, I do suspect, however, that you could have found a non-violent solution if you wished. Wait a second, so in other ending we actually can save Sin, but actually I wanted him to die. I believe you wanted him that. Yes. Or hurt, at the very least, after he's gone to such lengths to hurt you. Am I wrong? Revenge always comes at a cost. take it from me. So, what? Are you going to report me to the police or something? You've no need to worry. It would be impossible to prove what you've done. Only you, me, and our sponsor will ever know what really happened. But you will have to live with this burden. So they actually will be using this risky software where everyone can actually kill everyone just to if they think about it. Make no mistake, no matter how you try to justify what you've done, the truth will gnaw at you over time. If that's the price I have to pay, then so be it. What about Sin's family, though? His friends? Don't they deserve to know that he's gone? Unfortunately, I don't believe I'll be able to convincingly pass off his death as a simple incident, so ultimately I believe this for the best if he simply goes missing. However, I don't believe Sin was particularly close with very many people. We'll see if anyone even comes to ask about him. For all his pursuing, he was just like the rest of us. So it would seem. And what of Tiana? What's going to happen to her? She'll likely be paid off to keep quiet about chorus and to stay away from the contestants. I don't see any reason to punish you in any more than I do you. Among the three of us, she was the most critical of Sin's plan. Really? She agreed to go along with it eventually, but I could tell it never sat right with her. That sort of reminds me, what was the point of our Jiminy, anyway? Like, why did you give them to us? So we can know the code to the last puzzle? This is the sort of thing that'd be difficult to summarize if you hadn't seen the other's messages for yourself. Essentially, the messages the contact sent you over Jiminy were intended to keep you in the right state of mind, so to speak. You were each being primed for your respective corners. For instance, Sin constantly brought up Ether, did he not? Now that I think about it, yeah, he did seem pretty obsessed with her. Exactly, he was trying to get you to obsess with her in turn. That actually didn't happen to me. I mean, real me, not Ink. The fact that you were people you trusted worked well to our advantage. We knew we would have to reveal our identities eventually, so there was no point in hiding who we were. That being said, we opted for text-only communication in order to better conceal the fact that Sin and I were acting as contacts for two of you. I guess that makes sense. Seems a little convoluted, so and risky. You haven't the finest idea. I'm not normally one to lean on gambits quite so hard. I was wondering about that. There had to have been an easier way to get the money you needed than some over-the-top death game, right? Seems like there was a lot of opportunity for things to go wrong. And hey, they did. Under normal circumstances, you'd be absolutely right. Our sponsor, however, is anything but normal. But it's not their first. Wait a second, death game, as you so eloquently put it, they have a certain proclivity for such games, and were in fact the ones to suggest it in the first place. Hold on, are you saying something like this has happened before? Correct. This sort of thing is not altogether uncommon among certain upper-class cycles. That's why we met all those years ago. It's also why we choose the 4 elements as our virtual setting. The original hotel is where that first game took place. Again, another relation to the Zero Escape. Right here in Belbridge? It's news to me. You have got to tell me more. Even if I could, we certainly don't have enough time to go over everything. Like, it will be another game. Something. I know I said I'll be honest with you, and I tend to keep that promise, but that's a story for another time, I think. Yeah. Well, don't be surprised if I come ask you about it one day. If such an opportunity presents itself, then feel free. A warning, so it's not a happy story. In any case, our sponsor was the only person willing to invest in such flawed technology, the only one willing to give out the amount of money I thought Corners was worth. And so I agreed to their outlandish terms. Should have just walked away. I should have, but that would have meant giving up. I already spent years on this project. In fact, nearly all of my life as knowledge teacher had been spent working on corners in one way or another. But a project like this, it sounds like way too much work for just 3 people to handle. And if you are all geniuses, it was much a simpler project at the start. These kinds of things always are. The moment I saw Aaron, so I knew that both technologies combined had the potential to become something revolutionary. I snapped up the algorithm and Tiana herself without a second thought. Of course, the scope ballooned out of control. What's going on? Starlight, what did you activate it? Simpson hit his run. Are you kidding me? First of all, where was this game released? Was it on PlayStation as well? I might play it on it instead of PC. I'll add it to the list, 1 second. So maybe PlayStation 2 would be nice. Let's check. Let's check what is it. It's 1 second. Rate on Metacritics. GameCube, Xbox, might be not Xbox. GameCube is good as well. Come on. Oh, it's here. Come on, pass it. Pass it. Stupid phone. PlayStation 2, GameCube, PC, Xbox. Oh gosh. Okay, in PlayStation 2, it has pretty good rating, by the way. Of course, on PC it will look nice, but I really want to build right now a new PC. But I cannot buy a new memory because it's nowhere to be found, and I definitely don't want to waste X4 money for it. It's priced just $150 and that's all. A lot of work. So maybe PC, maybe I should play it on PC. Okay, we'll figure it out later. Let's just finish this game, there's no much left. Okay, of course the scope ballooned out of control as a result, and the project took much longer than I imagined. I really should have known better. It was too much work for 2 people. Even if I did, I hired a few contractors for some of the intermediary tasks. 2 people? Not 3? Scene was only brought on when we needed to design an accompanying game. He had no involvement with the project before that. Still sounds like you were way understaffed. You aren't wrong, I was too deep into development to turn back and too stubborn to ask for more help. The project consumed me, became my everything. But you must get something else to make money, no? Sounds like hell, why would you do that to yourself? I told you already, giving up was not an option. That's not what I mean. What I meant was, why did you start this project in the first place? What's in it for you? Oh, because he wanted to have a family back, isn't it? But still, why did you hire Lisa? I do not understand this. You already have all the money you could want, so why pursue some risky golden goose technology? What's that? You think me naive, but sure, I'll tell you why I did it. I thought that if the technology had gotten advanced enough, it might allow for Lisa to one day meet her mother. What? When Lisa got caught up in that incident, her sight was not the only thing she lost. She could no longer recall a single thing about burying her mother. What about the rest of her family? She couldn't remember anything about any of them either. Perhaps that was a mercy. She wouldn't have to bear the pain of losing them still. It was so very upset, heartbroken, but I thought I could fix things. I felt as I could simply restore her sight, but it's in a limited context. And then RN came around. I quickly discovered that if Tiana and I integrated our technologies correctly, we could do the impossible. I believe that we could get the simulation to a point where Lisa and I could enter together and she could meet Maureen as I remember her. And that's why I so badly wanted to create Corners, a cerebrally operated refractive, not enhanced reality simulation. Gosh. A world that runs on memories and assumption, for better or for worse. Thank you for telling me, Nolan. And I hope you don't mind me saying this, but I think you went about this all wrong. I'm listening. You say you wanted to let her meet her mother, and that's fine, but she had a grandmother who'd have been more than happy to support her, and relatives, or so I was told. Most importantly, she had a father who loved her dearly, but likely spent far too long on his pet project. She had all the family she needed. And everything's complicated puzzle, you know, sometimes the best answer is the simplest one. There was a time in my life where I'd have come to that conclusion myself. Time doesn't always change us for the better. Damn, I didn't expect Nolan to be so depressed. Do you have any more questions? Jones, are you okay to keep going? I can always come back. Fine now, for now. Please continue. There's once a little bird. But what's 379? That number kept popping up over the course of the game. What's its significance? Truth be told, I don't fully understand it myself. I have a few theories, but I've been awake for far too long, and I'll be honest with you, it hasn't been a huge priority. If I had to guess, I'm wondering if this is perhaps the Bader Meinhof effect at work. Do you expect me to know what that is? It's a form of cognitive bias in which a new name, word, or number seems to show up disproportionately often after seeing it for the first time. Yeah, I know it pretty well. In a world where cognition reigns supreme, I can only imagine how much phenomenon might affect the world around you. It's possible the first time you saw the number, it left such an impression on you that information suddenly kept popping up everywhere. But that's just one theory. Could be any number of things. Corners is still not a wholly understood technology even by me. I see. So, I'll read your book. Skimmed it, rather. You mean advanced neuroelectric interfaces? I thought you picked it up in Corners, but never got a chance to read it. Not well in Corners, no, but you have a copy down in that room with all the pods? I was waiting there for a while, you know. Oh, so what do you think? It's far beyond me, I couldn't understand half of it, but one chapter in particular got me thinking. In shared interfaces, you theorize that it's possible to engineer a way to feed the same brainwaves to two different minds so that it feels like they experience the same thing. Is that what was going on with your sponsor? I'm impressed you were able to piece that together. So the voice in my head was... Yeah, it was our sponsor. Wait a second, so the sponsor of this game was me! The player. They needed to be able to see, hear, and feel what you did to validate the authenticity of the simulation. They were hijacking your consciousness, so to speak, and could even tune in to many of your thoughts. So they felt everything that I did, even pain and stuff. They said they wanted to have an authentic experience. However, because of the more transit connection, they were able to come and go as they pleased. They weren't trapped in the simulation or anything of the sort. In fact, they sometimes hoped to ask me a few questions as the game progressed. So you weren't watching me the same way then? No, I was merely watching a screen with low resolution video and audio. Synth was also reporting periodically. Okay, sure. Still, why would the sponsor allow to speak to me? What possible reason could there have been for that? Just they wanted to make sure that we could prove that the simulation was happening in real time. By giving the sponsors some small measure of influence over you, we help convince our guests that this game was happening in real time to real people. No script, no actors. Furthermore, our sponsors simply wanted to be able to interact with you in some way. They're quite fond of that sort of thing. The request left me wary, so I tried to set it up in such a way that you'd only hear them on a subconscious level. Obviously, though, you were actively aware that they were trying to communicate with you. If I had to guess, this is likely because you began to desync from corners. Oh, well, that whole thing messed me up pretty bad, so I hope it was worth it. I apologize, I should have tried to find another way to satisfy our guest, but I was tight on time. We had an aggressive deadline to meet, even if it was self-imposed. Self-imposed is practically the same thing as having no deadline at all. The reality is that we couldn't spend forever on it. This project was very important to me, but even I didn't want to spend any entire life working on something that may never take off. There's only so long I could keep spinning my wheels before Tiana got bored and left. It was never going to be perfect, just needed to work. The hope was that we could get some more funding and expand its development. Corners really could not have come about in any other way. It was exit corners or nothing at all. You know, I think nothing at all might have been just fine. No need to remind me. What other questions do you have? So, I'm a little afraid to ask, but what happened to Ether? I believe she's gone. Her source code is still intact, but that instance of her has been erased from the system memory. Small Corners is now owned by our sponsor. However, she seems to have undergone some radical changes near the end of the game. I'm not quite sure what happened, and I can't say with certainty what would happen if someone tried to rebuild her. So ultimately, I don't know what will become of her. The end of Exit Corners had the same as the system spiraling out of control to a degree I couldn't fully understand. Yeah, things were getting pretty over the wall at the end there. Hell, even I was messing around this environment. Indeed, tearing into the very fabric of the simulation itself, I didn't know it was possible to lucidly control corners to such a degree. I almost wonder if the fact that you're transgender. So I'm going to stop you right there. Still, nobody had told us what happened to him before, but okay. I don't know what it is you're about to say, and I'm sure your intentions are not malicious at least. But before you speak, I'd like you to ask yourself if what you're about to say has a chance of coming off as ignorant. And what are you trying to say? Ignorant. So you want to say that he's not? Maybe me. It? Well, I suppose it might. I apologize. It's fine. In any case, I don't think I'll be stepping into corners ever again. So it's not like I really need to know every single thing about it. You're right. And neither do I, to be honest. I have to learn to be happy with the answer I have. I couldn't research the remaining anomalies, and if I wanted to. Oh, why is that? I no longer have access to corners. I handed all the most important bits to our sponsor just recently. The rest, including the documentation and physical equipment to go along with it, are to be delivered within the next 2 weeks. I'll be very busy. And what about after all that? What will you do once it's all over? Well, first I was going to return the money I stole from the university with interest. I've been paid back many times over thanks to our sponsor. Following that, I was going to turn myself into the police? Seriously? What, for real? Won't be telling them about corners. That'd be hard to prove. Anyway, but I'll admit to forging an identity, embezzling funds, and murdering my mother. Can't believe I'm saying this, but I don't think you should. Not take responsibility for my actions. That's exactly it, so you have a responsibility to make up for the harm that you've done. And I don't think you could do a very good job of that from prison. You're clearly capable of achieving amazing things if you put your mind to it. You've got the brains and you've got the resources. Put them to good use. That's what your mother was trying to tell you. Not to throw yourself in a hole, but to lift others out of death. Frankly, jail's the easy way out. That's practically giving up. How pity. We'll need to give this a bit more thought then. Good. And every time he closes his eyes, I worry that he's about to fall over. Hey Nolan, are you okay? Sorry, I'm tired. Is all. Maybe we should stop here for now. You look like you need some rest. I've many loose ends to tie up before I can even think about resting. Still, you're right. I don't know if I can afford to continue this for much longer. Before you leave, so I'd like to end things on a positive note. How so? I want to ensure you understand that I'm committed to your safety and well-being. Firstly, while I may not have been able to answer all of your questions in this short period of time, I don't want to leave you waiting for more answers. As such, I'd like you to take this. He's handing me something from off of his desk. Wait, is it a thumb drive? This portable drive contains a repository of Connor's development documentation, notes on the game, and chat logs between Xin Tian and myself. Wait a second, you'll be reading all of this? I'm hoping whatever additional answers you seek can be found within. Since I'll have a look. Secondly, I'll see to it that the remainder of your undergrad degree is paid for, and therapy, should you need it. Expect details shortly. By the way, Lisa's letter just lost, isn't it? Because we exited. Wait, what? Figured the least I could do was to help you finish your English degree. Go figure. Is something the matter? I know I shouldn't took a gift horse in the mouth, but I was actually thinking about switching programs. English is fine and all, and I always love my books, but I never truly felt like I was born to be a writer or a teacher, you know. Take it you found a new calling? Yeah, I'm thinking of becoming a detective. Go figure. It'll be no problem at all, I can pull some strings for you. I'd appreciate it. Oh no, is there actually any university for detectives? Get some sleep. Only after stepping back into the hallway do I realize how bright Noah's office was. It's only been a few days, but I guess my body was craving the sunlight. As much as I want to head outside right away, I've got one more stop to make. I head back to the room with the pots. I scan the room to make sure I haven't forgotten anything. I already feel my cell, wallet and keys on me, so I don't really know what exactly it is what I'm looking for. Why is this spot still closed? Maybe I'm not looking for something that can be found. I'm not sure why, but I think deep down I wanted to get one more look at this place before I left. The dull hum of the computers is the only thing saving this room from total silence. It still has a sterile air about it. It's creepy. I'm finally free. So why is that I feel almost sad? Feels as if I'm about to say goodbye to an old friend. Do I still miss Ether? Maybe Sant? No, not Ether. I think I miss being important. As stressful as Exit Current was, it was sort of nice to feel like I was involved in something big. But hey, I'm young. This isn't the last important thing in my life. Not if I have anything to say about it. I'm glad I caught the sun before it vanished over the horizon. The outside air is refreshing too, if a little cold. I smile as I step into the light. The waning sun is warm, setting the cold breeze. Despite everything, I'm feeling pretty good. After conquering corners, I think I'm ready to face reality. It's a big world out there, after all. Time to make the most of it. And I believe that's all. 10 p.m. with something. And there's nothing else to do. And what are those question marks? Interesting, interesting. We still have question marks here. What does it mean? This question answers. Oh gosh. Oh, it's open the new tab. Options, allow. Exit current question, action thread. I thought there's something still left in game. But I don't know what. What does it mean? Why paranoia appeared here? I still have questions. And the questions means that what? Exit corners. Five symbols. I don't know how to Google it. And question marks. Doesn't really look like the character has come out into reality. I don't know, for me, this is definitely the end. But I don't understand why we still have something. Maybe it's about another ending, I don't know. Seriously, I have no idea. But should I figure it out right now? I think it will be just waste of time. Okay, so there's another game from Foxy Shadow for 4 hours, but I don't think I will do it today. If you play it right now, it will be 12 a.m. Now 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m. No. I'll better go get some sleep. Christopher Nolan, yeah, sounded looked like this, but I do not understand why do we still have question marks here. Well, I think that's all. Let's see who can we rate. Who is still online? Who is not playing online games? And we have... What? Seriously, don't have anyone who we can rate. Except... Oh wait, Daytona TV? Wait a second, he just finished the... He just finished the game. This means... I don't know what to do. Okay, let's rate him. He finished the game, let's rate him. And he finished actually the last Kingdom Hearts game, there's nothing else for him to play. As for another ending, I will watch it on YouTube, as I understand it's a bad end and we got a good one, so it's not a Zero Escape where I actually wanted to get every single engine possible. Also, I would like to, if I want to get another engine, we must max them out as well to see what will happen if they stay with us, as I understand this trust system, what I read about this in the wiki. Anyway, that's all for today, so tomorrow will be another game from Foxy Shadow, and as I remember, there will be no other request that we must play right now, so Starlight Pumpkins, it maybe will be your game. Simpsons Hit and Run. I think I will play it on PC, but maybe it will be able to use controller to play it. Doesn't really matter, we'll figure it out next time, Saturday. See you next time, bye! Thank you, for staying here, see you!